Comic Menu Podcast is sponsored by Realistic Comic Books. RealComicBooks.com. Hey everybody, look at that. I'm still in my school clothes. It's been so busy at work that I didn't even have time to change out of my attire. Oh, what a show we're gonna have for you tonight. Oh, it's a treat. Oh, it's a treat. You know why it's a treat? Because I fucking say so. And the thing is that I always say that you guys have a place to be on Tuesday nights, and for some godforsaken reason, you always just seem to return to this damn show. You know why? Not because of this handsome face. No, it's because of the band of brothers that I bring to you every Tuesday night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. That's right. Facebook's for the old people, but guess what? They got money too. That's right. And speaking of money, oh, they like to spend it on print, art, OAs, and all that good stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about. So let's bring in let's start off with the best color man in the business, Dan. Oh, there he is.
Hello. I'm back. I got the hummus out.
You got that? You like that one? I had Sam cracking up on that one. Speaking of Sam, here we go. I got Comic Sam is back. Look at that.
Hey everybody.
Comic Sam and
have you back, Dan.
No camera, Sam. Oh, there you go. Good. All right. I say you don't have the 25 kids. You get them out of the room. And then we have then we have our buddy. Look at it. First time on this show in 2026.
What's happening, everybody?
You love him so much in his beard of wonders.
The beard.
It is the first. Here. It's the first time on 2026, not his last. Oh, trust me, people. Yeah, I can't sleep sometimes because he sends me text messages like, "Can I come on? Can I come on? Can I come? I'm
You
like,
wish.
fuck, Ryan. Such an asshole. Will leave me alone. Then we have you guys might know this guy from IG. He goes by Kvan. Kevin. He's a lover. He has his own theme music, apparently. Oh, wow.
What up? What's going on?
That's not weird at all.
He's gonna be
I
golden.
just found out this is running on YouTube as I was sitting here trying to find it on IG, and I like as you blacked me out. I'm like, dude, where's this show at? It's on IG.
No, because it's a big mess to stream it on IG. It's a thing, man.
Hey,
IG does not make it easy.
How's all of our 14 followers gonna see this tonight?
Well, I don't know. They'll find a way.
I already sent them payment to tune in.
Okay.
Then we have another special guest who drove 75,000 hours to go to Orlando because he's going to be at OAX. And if you're going to be at OAX, go by his booth and say hello. We got Anthony Snyder for Anthony Comic Book Art and all that other good stuff. You're on mute, Anthony.
You're on. He's technologically challenged.
It's okay.
It's been a long day.
I had the first art website up in the country, but I'm technologically challenged.
Oh my God. What's going on there, Efren? To say some hellos here. What's up, Tom? Tom is saying, is that Shannon's husband's husband? Yes,
Shannon's husband is here. I'm here.
Shannon's husband is there. We're going to talk about OA art and art in general, because believe it or not, well, of course you're going to believe it, but I've been doing claim shows. I've been watching claim shows for quite some time. Kevin hosts them. He actually hosts Anthony there at a couple shows, and I've noticed of late that more and more shows are doing prints. As you know, before it was all comic books. Then I started seeing, we have some cards, Pokemon. Oh, we got some football, basketball. Then we got this prints. Then we got some OAs. And now it's becoming a staple, right? Then you have guys like Anthony who's been doing it for 45 years, and he's like, how long have you been doing, Anthony?
Early 90s. I started in the early 90s. Yep. And then I had the website up in 98.
Wow.
He was the first. He's the first to ever do a website.
I think it was the third website up, actually. But yeah, I have the largest website in the country now, because I'm willing to carry a lot of the things that you were just mentioning. I carry prints. I carry color guides. I carry, for budget collectors, and I have a staff because I have an eBay store with 150,000 things on it in a 10,000 square foot space. So I can take in a deal of like 10,000 color guides and process that like I did with color guides and, put those out there for the collecting public. So, yeah, we've seen me and Kvan have been doing shows for the past 3 months now.
Yep.
3 months?
3 months.
Yeah.
3 months. And I saw Anthony at a show maybe 6 months ago. We were chatting. He, I bought something from him, and then at the time I was doing the comic books, and then I just floated it out to him. I'm like, dude, we should do something with art on IG, because frankly, I'm sick of seeing the same damn comic books every single show from every single seller that I host.
That is, you have a point, Kevin. Let's be honest. Dan and I have had this conversation. Claim shows, they're fine and dandy and all, but how many times did you say, "Hey, I think that's my book. That's my old book," right? Because 100%. And then it gets passed down from show to show to show. And then when you have all of a sudden go, "Oh, and by the way, I have this," and the camera pans over and the rainbows fucking shoot out, the doves and and you're like, "What the fuck is this fine, beautiful piece of art?" Oh, it's a Neil Adams OA of like, So this is going to bring me, and I'm going to start this off. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, I feel like, Kevin's story kind of resonates because anybody who's collected, especially maybe comic books, for any amount of time, eventually matriculates over to art. I mean, we know from comic books that it's great. Like, I mean, that's where the love starts. But when you have a piece of OA, you have one of one. Nobody has it. And I think that is really one of the biggest things that attracts people to original art is, or that medium, is just the fact that you are the only owner of that piece. And like Anthony said, it could be an entry-level piece. It could be like a Frazetta cover for millions of dollars. Who knows? But nobody else is going to have that in the world. It's just going to be what you got. So that's pretty cool.
It's funny. I have a buddy of mine who collects OAs, and he obviously wants published art, right? He wants that. That's his thing. That's his jam. So I have so many questions. Let's get this started. First of all, I'm gonna go to Anthony and Kevin because you guys work in tandem. What's
Caesar's
the
first
most?
How much do you make before taxes?
Anthony, how much? Anthony, as far as the IRS is concerned, makes no money at all. He only loses money.
I actually don't.
Hell yeah.
You can talk to my accountant, my tax accountant that I've been with for 30 years. So he handles that for me.
My question to you guys is: what is the at this time the most requested art or artist? Whenever you have a show, do you have any fill in the blank? What is the most like hot? It's that you're like, not tonight, not tonight, not tonight, not ever.
Well, it's usually the stuff we don't
Bruce
have.
Timm.
Right, but what is it?
Anthony would have a better beat on it. I can tell you a couple that I've noticed, but Anthony, you go.
I'm gonna say Dragotta.
No, well, it's my, as a professional seller for the past 30 years, let's say, I like to try to carry a wide variety of things, and people's taste move along with the times, and I try to keep up with that. It's not my job to edit people's tastes. So, some people like sketches, some people like color sketches, some people like published pages, some people like color covers, and I've tried to diversify my inventory along the way and have choices for everybody that can visit my website, because I do have the most trafficked website in the country. I have the most populated website in the country, and I have the most diversified inventory in the country. I took an order for $100 thing. I took an order for a $60,000 thing today. So, that's the range. Yeah, it's a good day. I sold the Ditko Hulk page, K-Van.
Oh, very nice.
There you go.
Very nice. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things about Anthony is you'll learn is that he never really answers the question right out of the gate. He
Yes,
tells
I
a
did.
story about
But who was the artist?
I will just
It changes.
Yes, and this is why Anthony does well, and why I wanted to host him, because if you let Anthony start talking, you're going to end up in fucking Timbuktu in about 14 hours.
Oh,
I
that's
love it.
just not true.
The
I'm
answer to
Jersey
the
to
question is
Orlando.
this: Peach Momoko.
Yeah.
Everyone requests, but nobody seems to have it. Dragotta,
Yeah.
Quintana, Jim Lee, big one that everyone wants. No one wants to pay for, but everyone wants. One personally that I always ask for in every show I'm in and can never find ever is Darwin Cook.
Yeah.
He's impossible to find. It used to be Bruce Timm, but I see now more and more Bruce Timm popping up.
I
Those
got that
are
shit
kind of-
all over my house.
Yeah, I would say those are the big ones. The Momoko's a big one. Anthony, what are the other ones? I mean, we always get
Well,
the question
Peach,
for-
a few years ago when Peach was first showing up, her husband would sell me, 5 covers for $5,000. They were like $1,000 a piece, and then, as she got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then she stopped showing up, and the access was denied. So. I love Peach's work. I spent so much money with her and her husband that she did a piece for us. Just dropped it. Do you have an example of that? Sharon has an example. It's her favorite piece of art in the world. And we're using it in my logo and promo stuff. We have it's a portrait of me and Sharon. So I mean, I love Peach's work, but she's so busy and she's not traveling anymore. So
So there you
I
go.
don't
There's
know
a
if she's
quick
gonna.
I'm
answer.
gonna blame the scalpers on that one.
Oh yeah, here you go. He has
Oh,
this
that's-
original. I've seen the original artwork to this. She did
That's
for
That's
him.
amazing.
It's nice.
So
Yeah, that's
that's
the kind of cool
Sharon's
stuff right
favorite
there.
thing in the world. So
Yeah, that's it. That's every right. So I guess
And then,
so. Let me read.
you know,
Let me
Bruce
reword.
Bruce has been around for for so long, but he likes to make money. And about what 10 years ago, I did a deal for like 200 Bruce Tim nudes. And when I put those out and started selling them, the publisher got an idea. Hey, we should do a book. And I sent
Big
all those
tease.
scans to the guy, and that became Naughty and Nice or Tease or whatever.
Big
What did he
tease.
call it?
The
Naughty
big
and
tease.
nice. Yeah.
No,
the
well, yeah,
Naughty
there's
and
two of
Nice
them
did a
actually.
bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought when
I
you
have
said
them
Bruce
on my-
Tim News,
on my
I was going to
calendar.
ask you if it was hard to get him to pose.
Hey, real quick, did Ryan say that he has a bunch of Bruce Tim originals and Darwin Cooks lying around?
I don't have Darwin. I have Bruce.
Oh,
He does have
let's
Bruce.
talk. Let's talk, Ryan. After the
I don't
Oh.
think
show.
he'll. I don't think he'll
Those
sell
will
it.
go to my grave.
Oh, damn it! And there's your
Um,
problem. And there's
Well,
why you
no.
don't.
Here's
see
the
him.
problem. I grew up. My best friend is Craig Tim, who is Bruce Tim's nephew.
Oh,
So I have everything that I have is like personalized to me or my wife
That's-
from Bruce.
I'll change if I change my name at the court to Ryan. Will you do a deal with me? I mean, I'll do it.
Arvan. He's gonna change his IG to Arvan.
Yeah.
So,
So there's a lot of let me put it this way. Those are the names that come up that I think people request, but rarely do I see people chalk up the money for it. Yeah, see, look at that. And you probably paid you probably got that for free, didn't you?
Nothing. It was a birthday present.
So yeah, you got it for free.
you pretty much. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And like
So
a piece
I-
like that now, anything Bruce Tim,
Oh.
you can't even sniff, sub $600-700 for like it's something like that now for Tim is hard to come by. So
Oh yeah,
anyway.
his little
So-
10-second
so-
Batman's like $800.
So let me,
What
let me
artists
reword that.
Are
Let me reword that
actually
for.
moving the most.
What's moving the most?
Yeah.
Okay. So Anthony, again, I'll let you speak first, and then if Anthony hasn't answered in 5 minutes, I'll answer.
At this time, Anthony, because you said there's always a flavor of the month, right?
Yeah.
Let me reword that. What's the hottest thing now that you just can't keep?
I'd go back to Spider-Man and Spider-Man. My Spider-Man was Ross Andrew in the 70s. Some people older than me was John Romita. Then it's Bagley. Then it's it's moved on to the generational Spider-Man artists. And depending your age, that's the Spider-Man that you love. But I would say that Spider-Man's still the most popular character. And then Batman. So Batman, but there's a lot of Batman art. There was a lot of titles. There's, so there's a lot of Batman art out there. And it's interesting that Ryan showed that piece because Batman art usually sells by the villain on the page. Are you a Two-Face fan? Are you a Penguin fan or Joker fan? A lot of Batman art sells by the villain. Poison Ivy,
can see that.
Catwoman.
I can see more people requesting villain art than say just Batman or
Batman's on almost every page, but the villain.
Right. So if you have an artist, like for example, you, Brian, if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, do you mind doing a sketch of?" Most likely, it's going to be a villain of a Batman villain if they're going to ask.
No, I get when it comes to Batman, it's either Batman or let's be real, Harley. I get one of the Gotham Sirens or Batman. Every once in a while, when you have those guys that collect the villain, it's like, hey, I have a whole collection of Scarecrow. Hey, I have a whole collection of Two-Face. That's when I'll get those villains. But for the most part, it's like, can you do Batman or can you do Harley, Ivy, or Catwoman? I mean,
How do you-
I'm doing all three right now. For
You-
somebody,
you
I'm
would-
doing 3
Wait,
sketch
those are our show gifts, Ryan?
No, these are.
Oh.
This was I mean, we can talk. We can talk about one of your streams, K-Van.
Well,
I got stacks of sketch covers.
so
Mm.
so one of the things, I guess to piggyback on that, and I'll say this, and then I'll piggyback on something I was just thinking about. One of the things that I would say, it's not necessarily an artist, though I could name a few that rarely stay put once Anthony has them. Theme wise, I would say good girl art, regardless of whether it's X-Men, DC, or whether it's Marvel, DC, independent. Good girl art sells in abundance. If you get a good piece, and it from a named artist, it sells like hotcakes. But even from like lesser known artists, if it just looks good and it's good girl art, it sells. So that's a big one. That's a big genre that moves very quickly. I mean, one show, Anthony, I
Kevin.
think we started pulling out good girl art, and we went 2 hours of just like claim.
Yeah.
So
Kevin, are you,
So-
you know, one of the interesting things, and this is for Kevin or Anthony, whoever wants to take it, but, you know, if you look at the industry trend, we're starting to see manga and anime dominating the globe, right? They're starting to really make an impact. They're killing it at theaters, the box office. Netflix is making these record shows now. Are you starting to see interest peaking for that genre of original?
yeah, that's super interesting. I talked to one of my good buddies. You guys probably know him, Dave Cinemachan, who I love, Dave. And he turned me on to kind of like the first guy to kind of turned me on to original art before I got into hosting and doing all this. I just would see some of his stuff, and his shows with John Hot and Cool are some of my favorite IG shows because it's not the same shit you see in every single IG show.
Yep.
Like, and that's why I liked it. And then he started bringing out original art, and I was all about it. But I had no idea what I was doing. And luckily, Dave's just a nice guy, and he's, you know, we're buddies, and he started telling me, "Hey, here's what you look for." And I bring that up because I talked to him a few months back, and he's like, "Dude, it's coming." He's like, "If you want to spec on art, like go spec on the manga and the anime, because that is outside of the US 50x, you know, the amount of population is following that." And he says it's starting to come into the US, and when it comes, it's gonna be a wave. And so I have been kind of searching for artists, and you know, that's part of the fun of art, I think, is you get to spec at a reasonable price on unknown names, and hopefully you hit the jackpot, you know. And anyone who was buying Quintana about a year or two ago knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we had Matt
Sick.
Tullio on here in September, giving us a
Mhm.
little bit of knowledge on like how that's blowing up. And
Yes.
they're just hard to track
Oh,
down.
Matt. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I would think because now Anthony and Kevin, you may not know this about me, but obviously, as you can see, I'm a collector, mainly slabs.
You don't read.
Never read a comic book in my life.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna be 54 Thursday. Never fucking read a comic book in my life. I was surprised. I think I opened one once by accident. You know, so it's one of those things that I don't know. I know things, but I don't know storylines and all that stuff. But because of this show and because of the connections I've made, I've learned very much so about things, right? I would think something like a Frazetta OA would be extremely hard to find. Or am I wrong?
It's not hard to find. It's hard to afford.
It's hard to acquire.
Okay, so that's what it is, right?
You can find
So-
it. You can't afford it though. But yes.
So that's
I
gonna,
mean,
that's,
Caesar,
so this
that,
is
that
this,
Frazetta Conan cover, I think it went for like 13 or 14 mil or something like that. I mean,
oh, recently, right?
yeah, I mean, this is.
I mean, I
not
can't
something-
think,
Anthony comes across like Wrightson and Frazetta. Those are harder, and that's why Anthony is so successful in my, and why I like working with Anthony, because Anthony is probably one of the only, and I'm not going to pretend I've met all of the dealers, but I've met quite a few. One of the only dealers who's reasonable, like in pricing, and is
Yeah.
willing to make a deal. And we have sold Wrightsons on his show, which prior to knowing Anthony, I would have never imagined an original Wrightson goes on just a random Thursday night IG show, because they're very difficult to come across. But Anthony had one. He
Well-
had like a small Wrightson, a couple small Wrightson originals for under a couple $1,000. I mean, very reasonably priced. So Anthony comes across it, but Frazetta's tough because it's just everything. Frazetta is, you got to have a wallet.
There's a reason why, Anthony, and I'm going to speculate.
Yeah,
There's a
the
reason why
price point on Frazetta has moved.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is there a lag? Oh, I didn't realize there was a lag. Anthony, sorry about that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
A little bit, yeah.
Go ahead.
The price points on Frazetta has moved so quickly that stuff that I bought and sold, 10, 15 years ago, I can't even touch buying back. I had a color piece from Pillow Talk, the portfolio that I sold for 15,000, and I couldn't buy it back for 150,000 now. So it's like,
Anthony,
it's
what's
like,
driving that? Is it scarcity? Is it just general taste? I mean, what's driving an
I
art?
think
like,
it's, it blew up in,
5 mil and Frazetta go for 13 mil. What?
yeah. I think, he was exposed to the masses and moneyed people like Robert Rodriguez, the director, was collecting, buying paintings from the family and making a museum. I think where he lives, San Antonio, maybe. He was showing stuff and exposing it, and Heritage propelling price points out of the stratosphere. And that with that situation, those are moneyed people that are speculating. Those are the people driving price points up that aren't collectors per se, but that are really speculating on prices. So, and it's worked. It's like I saw that what's his face from Shark Tank,
O'Leary.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like saying that he's owns the most valuable Pokemon cards in the world now, and this is worth 17 million. It's like, really? I mean, it's worth what somebody's going to pay. Kevin,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. I'm gonna speculate, Anthony. The reason why you've been in business for so long, word of mouth. It's kind of what Kevin would say, right? You're a reasonable guy. You're not one of those. If I come to you and say, "Hey, Anthony, I really like something good. I only have $150." You're like, "I got something for you."
Yeah,
Right.
I have a lot of things for you.
Right.
I try
right.
to cater to all budgets. I'm half Greek, and we started when I left college. We started a restaurant business, and I became a chef. And the restaurant business is all about getting people in the door and making sure you provide them with an experience that they want to come back. So I try to make customers and keep them and build my business that way. And I don't know of anybody else in this business that does.
Right. Because it's very simple to go, "Hey, sir, I have $150. What do you got?" You're like, "Move along. There's nothing here worth $150. You got to be a high roller to stop at this booth." And it's like you leave that.
No,
that's
the ego they project, and I can name
right.
names, but I'm not.
Yeah,
going to.
but the thing is that those are the ones that, that's where you get the bad word of mouth, right? Hey, don't go to that booth. That guy's a douchebag because he doesn't even want to entertain my measly
I did it to you
$150.
once, dude. I only did it to you once.
Well, he did once actually.
One of the.
But the thing, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
Dave.
ahead.
No, I'm just nonsense. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, one of the challenges I think for me in OA, and maybe not for everybody, is with comic books, there's enough places to get a fair market value. You can go to Go Collect, you can go to eBay, you can see enough sales of the common book where you're getting an idea, right? With OA, it's a little more difficult, I think, and then you add that to the fact that I'm more prone if I'm at a show and I see somebody selling a book I want, I'll haggle. I can't haggle with an artist because number one, I feel like it's insulting. to them, you know. But number two, how do you put a price on on an original piece of art? You can't. I mean, so I'm really interested in the question that we asked in the beginning is like, how can you value art, or is it just you love it, you buy it, and you enjoy it? Is that really what it boils down to?
I think Anthony is the best to answer that, and then I can give you my opinion. But Anthony is certainly more
Go ahead.
equipped.
Go ahead. But okay, people ask me this question all the time. What do you think I should get? What do I think I should get involved with, or what's a good investment? And again, it's not for me to edit people's tastes. I always say that, but people need to buy what they like. I mean, why are you in this hobby? Do you like, what do you collect? Do you collect Batman or Spider-Man or X-Men girls or Gambit and Rogue from the X-Men Adventures, I grew up reading Jim Lee X-Men, or I grew up reading Jim Lee Batman.
Right.
Whatever, that triggers that nostalgia bone in you, and that's what you want to look at. Buy what you want to look at and enjoy looking at while you have it, and you'll never lose money in the rate that you've gotten the appreciation out of it. So that's what
okay. Well, I don't have the same answer. So that's Anthony's answer, which he has to give because he doesn't want to share his trade secrets with you on how he puts.
Oh, bullshit! That's really That's really how I think about it.
He has a secret sauce. Is that what he's saying, Anthony?
Yeah.
You got a secret.
I've
you got a
been
secret
working
sauce.
with Anthony. I've been working with Anthony for a few months. I'll let Anthony decide if we share how much we've sold. We've sold a lot. And even now, after helping him and working with him and creating a good friendship with him, I'll go and I'll ask him, hey, I need your opinion on this piece of art. And he basically tells me to fuck off. And I'm like,
that's not true.
Like,
that is not true. You showed me something the other day. I said, I don't like it. Don't buy it. I think it's fake. But what did you do?
It took me 5 minutes to get a price out of him. He eventually gave me a price. My point is Anthony, he
on
knows
a piece
how to
of shit
value
that I thought was fake? Okay. How is that a price?
So,
he's trying to help you out, Kevin. He's trying to help you out.
Let me give you a quick answer because I have brought this up to Anthony a couple of times. I think that this is the biggest barrier from people who buy comic books to transition to original art. 100%. You buy a comic book.
It is.
And
you're right.
And you know the value because you just go and look it up and you can see that 50 other books just like it sold within the last 6 months. So you're comfortable at a value. You're not going to get burnt. Okay.
Correct.
If you're an even halfway intelligent collector of comic books, you should not be getting burnt in today's day and age with technology where it is.
With all the data that we have.
That's correct.
Yeah,
now,
you have data on it. But you do have data. You have a comic art tracker that shows you sales. You have Bill has everything that's sold on Comic Art Fans. He has a market report on that.
So
and Heritage. You have Heritage results, huh?
Tell
so
us
how does
about
that
the
work?
Comic Art Tracker and Comic Art Fans, because I would say at least half the people aren't aware of where to get that information.
All right.
Well, that's a website called Comic Art Tracker that shows results of things that have sold, and it can give you, a basis by which to price things. But I mean, my emphasis on pricing stuff is based on what I paid for it. If I think something's worth $1,000 and I buy it for $500, and then I have that kind of room, that's how I have built a business. But but there is market data in artwork, but
yes,
not all artwork is the same. Every piece is unique, and the content is unique. You can't find a page from Batman 450 with Bruce Wayne on the phone and Batman going into action punching Joker in the face. They are worlds apart. So it's very much based on content.
Content's a big one. What I would say is this: the quickest way to try and get an idea, the way that I do it, is especially if it's a named artist, is look at the results on Heritage. because most known artists at some point have cells on Heritage. That's not going to give you it's not an exact science, but it gives you a baseline. For example, here's the biggest problem with art. Dumbass has put obscene prices on it, right? That's not based in any record, track, sales, anything. They
It's just
say,
a number.
I think it's cool. It's $5,000. And so someone comes in and they're like, damn, I really like that, but I couldn't pay 5,000. Boy, why don't I just throw a flyer out there at 3,000? And the guy says sold. Next thing you know, that dude's artist is selling for $600 a pop. And you're like, oh shit. And it's because the guy who sold it, and this is why it's so important you buy from credible sources who have a track record like Anthony. Obviously, Anthony's out of business if he does that, right? Like Anthony doesn't have a business if he prices stuff like that. So you have to know who you're buying from and know and trust that they are pricing it correctly based on the artist and kind of what his stuff goes for. Because it's really easy to get burnt on art. I mean, that example that I just gave you happens all the time.
So that being said, and Anthony brought up another question that I have: fake signatures, right? Anthony, I'm assuming in your line of work, you have come across quite a few pieces of art with the signature on it, and they're like, "How much would you give me for this?" And you're like, nothing, because it's fake. And then you guys argue back and forth that it's not fake. How do you know? What the fuck do you know? You know, I was there when he signed it. You're like, well, that's great because he's been dead for the past 40 years. So, you know, how is that possible? And you're 24
Well, with
years old.
artwork or with prints and stuff like that?
Just in general, just just fake signatures.
Well, I have, I have come across forgeries, people trying to pass something, a Kirby Thor cover, a JRJR Punisher cover, tried to get passed to me. That was a while ago. And I know the artist, the professional artist that did it. He was on hard times and he was trying to, survive. But I never outed him on it because I just said, dude, come on, this isn't real. And we went our separate ways. But as far as SIGs, I do a lot of business in signed comics and stuff like that and I put it all on eBay. And if I don't think something's good, I don't put it up. And I write my own COAs people, I sign COAs every day with my name on it. Hey, this is good. I like it. This is good.
Which means that if anybody comes back to Anthony and it wasn't certified, it validated, then Anthony gives a refund, which is how it should be, right?
I mean, I don't know who at those companies are not certifying something that I like and that I know is good because I have more experience than anybody that they have doing that job. So that
it's true. If someone like Anthony gives me a COA saying this thing is good, and I'm going, well, what's your pedigree? What's your credentials? He's like, I've been doing this shit for 400 years. Okay, I believe you. Compared to someone going, this is my COA. I know it's good. Well, how long you been doing this? Well, about a year.
Yeah.
And well, how long you been doing this professionally? About a year. You're like,
in addition to that, and most importantly, Anthony says to him, if you find out otherwise, you bring it back to me, full money.
I'll give you money back.
No questions asked. Now, not a lot of sellers are willing to do that, and nor do they have an establishment where they can come back to, right? Because and that's the problem. Is like you can buy from some random and he says, hey, if it's not good, let me know. But like, how do you know this guy from Peter? He doesn't have a storefront that you can walk to.
He already changed his name on IG
that's
4 times.
So that's buying from credible sources is important. And this all goes back to pricing. I mean, pricing is very subjective. And to Anthony's point, I do the same thing. I've sold actually quite a bit of art, but I buy art based on what I like. And if I'm willing to pay that price, usually someone else's, and then, I might buy it for $200 and sell it for $300. And I haven't gotten into any position yet with art where you're getting into the high dollars, which is where I think the auction houses come into play. Now, Anthony can give you his take on that, but a lot of guys who buy high-end art that I've spoken to tell me that they're only comfortable buying on auctions because they know that there was someone $50 before them willing to spend the same price that they just spent, and thereby they get a good idea of the value because the market dictates the value based on auctions. So a lot of the big, six-figure collector guys. Now, Anthony's going to tell you. I'm going to let Anthony talk because he's got a
I
whole
see
opinion.
that.
But a lot of the big 5-figure, 6-figure pieces that I've talked to that buy that stuff actively, that's what they tell me, that they only trust the auctions for that because it's hard to price and you need an active market to price it. Now, Anthony, you go.
Okay. There's a lot. My main competition, the three dealers that come to mind, are all buying on Heritage and marking stuff up and reselling it. So I don't. It's a buyer's market out there in the auction houses. There's too many auctions. They happen too often. They put too much stuff out at once, and you're supposed to get. What? How much do they do in a weekend in the platinum auction? 20, 30 million or so in those platinum auctions. That money needs to be available that weekend, and things fall through the cracks. And there's people trying to make a living on that stuff falling through the cracks like that, or underperforming. It's like, and as far as my relationship with the auction, I consider myself better at selling stuff because I'll find the right person for it in the right time and be patient with it. And that it doesn't have to fit to their schedule on that Saturday at 1 p.m. of who's watching that auction and what they're going to pay for it. And by the way, we're going to add 30%.
You're talking about the seller side, which I agree with you. I'm talking about the buyer side. So from a seller standpoint, yeah, I that's what you're saying with the auctions. It might not make sense for someone to put their art up from a seller side. From the buyer side, though, what my comment was, if you're to get the true value of a piece, it's whatever like you said, Anthony, whatever the next guy's willing to pay for it. And so if you want a true value on a piece of art, go on and look at the auctions, because there you have a live example of what other people value this piece of art. That's right. Yeah. Outside of that, it's everyone's best guess. You're not going to have an exact, comparable. You're just going to have an idea of what it should go for, but you're not going to have an exact number, because the only true way to get that is in an auction.
You're going to hope you got a good deal.
That's right. And
you're going to hope, and then you ask around, hey, do you think I got a good deal? They're like, oh, I mean, how much did you spend? $4,000. I wouldn't have spent $4,000, but if you're happy with it, you're whatever. So it is kind of hard to kind of go, well, did I get a good deal or did I not get a good deal? The only time you see that is when you see the piece sold somewhere else, right? And they spent $10,000 for it. You're like, shit, I got a good deal for it.
That's right.
And I'm doing what Anthony suggested, honestly.
Experience, though, like you've got new artists popping up all the time with reps who are popping up out of nowhere, which is cool. Like artists need representation and a market and a vehicle to get
that's something we could talk to Ryan about.
They're not good at it, right? I know, but how do you even know? I've been collecting OA now, I think, for like 5 years, but getting into it, you have no clue for a new page or a new cover or a commission, where to even begin. Are you, that's where the is it worth it to you? And do you love it enough to put the value on it? Because some of them, there's no data on what pieces have sold for.
And we say that all the time with comic books, right? Read what you love, right? I mean, and I think what Anthony said really is true. Like, collect what you love, and that's kind of where I lean, right? Like, if I'm reading books and I like the page of the book, right, I'll seek out the art for the page, right? I like that, and that's what I'm collecting. Like, I like the layouts, but the problem becomes, and Caesar gives me shit all the time, I've got boxes of comic books because I read all the time. It's great now because I'm loving it now. One day I'm going to need to liquidate this shit, and how do you do that with art? What do? You just
Get it,
You
man.
sell it to Anthony.
Be
You save
comfortable
it to
with getting,
Anthony.
yeah, be comfortable with getting 30 cents on the dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. But
Dude,
that's the
and
other
like
thing.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, people, there's an inevitable recycler in this hobby. Inevitable. Say it, K-Van. Inevitable.
Inevitable.
Okay. There's an inevitable recycler in this business, and it's called, death.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
die, and their collections go into, they get
Probate,
recycled. There was a collector in my area named Keith Fromm that passed away last year, and all his stuff went through Heritage. There's a lot of that. So there's bereavement. Policies that people have, or leaving the will to like, oh, I want
Mhm.
they can all handle it for my wife or whatever.
Mhm.
And some people have put me in their wills. I've never had to deal with a major collection like that yet, fortunately. But if you're buying, Spider-Man, Batman, mainstream stuff, you're not going to get hurt on that. And I try to sell things at a place where, this person can walk away from my table having spent $1,000 and it's worth $1,000. That's
Yeah.
my business model. That's not
And
everybody's
and I
business
vouch-
model
and
because I try to make
I was going to say, I'll
I
vouch
try
for-
to make customers, not scores on people.
So Anthony
Right.
does a really good job. I mean, the reason, again, we've had a lot of success. And Anthony, do you care if I share some numbers with these guys, or is that too personal?
Let's go ahead. Go ahead. I don't mind.
We've
When we started, let's just give some background. When me and Bill Cox and Mike Berkey started doing dealers, we did about $5 million worth of business between us over the course of about 200 shows. But that kind of ran its course. So I wanted to do art drops and IG shows, and me and Kevin hooked up to do the IG. And we're averaging about $5,000 an hour? Would you say that's about fair?
10 to 20,000 a show. I mean, we've been doing it for 2 or 3 months, and we sold close to 300,000. But
Sure.
Yeah.
believe it or not, most of that is, sub $1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And
I love it. I
That shit
love
adds
it.
up. It all adds up. It all adds up, right?
And
Because
why-
$1,000, even though $1,000 is a lot of money, in the scheme of things, it's not.
And the big thing there is because people are willing to dip their toe in the water at a couple $100 because
Yeah.
even if they did bad, it's like, oh well, like I overpaid by $50, $100. It's not. People don't feel that way when they spend $7,000 on a piece. Come to find out, it's worth $4,000. That's not a bath anybody wants to take. And it's very difficult, pill to swallow. So a lot of Anthony's success has been very accessible art, which, by the way, is fucking awesome. Like, you look at these pieces and you're like, holy shit, like I can own this. It's one of a kind. Like, you can access that feeling for $100, for $200. Like, that's the funny thing here is that I was having this conversation with Cove about comic books because we moved over $500,000 in comic books last year on the IG, and one of my comments to him was because he was giving me one of his spiels about how hard it is to be a seller and dealing with this and blah blah blah, and I said, Cove, you're in the business of dealing with a bunch of degenerate gamblers because that's all we are as collectors. We're just a bunch of degenerate
we say that stuff all the
gamblers.
time in our Discord. Degenerate.
And I'm like, because anyone who's buying a piece of art isn't buying it solely because it looks good, because they could just buy a print for $2. They're
Yep.
not buying
They're
it
hoping for
because
an investment.
they're buying it because they think it's going to go up in value.
And
they're
also the
rolling
rush.
the
It's
dice.
also that rush. It's the rush of winning, the rush of buying, getting it.
It's gambling. All we are doing as collectors in this hobby is we are masking our addiction for gambling behind comic art and comic books. And hey, I'm just willing to say it out loud. Nobody else wants to, but that's the God's honest truth. We're all a bunch of gamblers.
Hey, listen, I mean, we
Well,
bought
one
books.
Correct.
What it is, we buy books going, oh, please make a movie. Please make a movie so I could
Oh.
so I can sell this for $400
I really don't
$100
do that.
more.
I really don't do that. I mean, honestly, I buy books to read the books. I enjoy the stories. I enjoy the art. I
Well-
really do. I mean, and there is a
Well, yeah,
subset of
but
people
you're buying. I assume you mean like moderns, like new books that come out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, well,
he,
I mean,
he buys
yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
Strange,
No, I'm not. I'm
graphic
talking
novel.
about when's the last time you spent $1,000 on a comic book?
I don't want to admit it on air. My wife.
You bought that book.
His wife's watching, Kevin. His wife's watching. Watch out.
You bought that book
Dan.
Love
not
you,
because
Kelly.
you enjoy
Never.
reading, not because you like looking at the art. You bought that book because you, deep down inside, think it's going to go up in value, and that's the only damn reason
Well,
you spent
Kevin,
$1,000.
can I tell you something? In that situation, those books I'm buying, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, those are slabbed. Those aren't
Yeah.
coming to me raw. Rarely.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
those are that's what I'm referring to. I'm referencing that part of the
Yeah.
hobby.
No,
right?
yeah. Let's be honest, and I tell people about this all the time. The reason why I collect, I like to really preserve history. But let's be honest, I will get a lower grade and I'll sell that and buy the same book in a higher grade. And if I get a high, eventually all this is going to go to my daughter. What she does with it when I'm
She can sell that shit.
maggot, she's going to sell that shit. But I already have it in my mind. I'm going to set somebody who knows the industry to be with her, so she doesn't get a number one punisher. And the guy's like, I'll give you $200. She's like, okay, that's like a lot of money, that kind of thing. And my buddy's gonna be like, fuck no, that's a $3,000 book, man. You're not gonna sell that. So I have a reason to, but you're right that it is that gambling rush, right? That's what happens on
And the
Whatnot.
same is true
When you
with
do
art.
the Whatnot, and Sam, you know, because of Whatnot, it's like a lot of the FOMO books, 20,
Well,
40,
there's
50.
that.
I spent $150 and you find out that book is worth $30 next week.
Well,
Well,
and,
it's just
and-
like how you started collecting, and you were only paying like $30 was top price that you pay for a book, and now you've got how many slabs behind you that are
Well, yeah.
thousands.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
right.
tell you, I dipped my toe in original art with some commissions, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and then I'm okay spending $5-6 grand for a piece, and I'm like, well, I don't plan on moving this, so I feel comfortable spending it. But if I ever needed to, would it fetch me, the same? If
What
not
you
more?
paid for?
That's the gambling part of it,
And
well,
that's
and
the
it's-
gambling.
So it's all,
part.
and the same is true with art. And I've had
Yeah.
this conversation with Anthony too, because I say to Anthony, I'm like, at the end of the day, you know how many talented artists there are in the world?
It's insane.
that there are an extreme amount of talented artists, like crazy, that you could get pieces for fractions of the prices, and in a lot of cases better quality than what you're buying and spending $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on a piece. Why is it then? Because you're gambling. You're gambling on the idea that someone's going to want it more in 5 and 10 years. And and that's just the God's honest truth. Cove didn't like it when he said that, because he says he doesn't gamble. And I'm like, dude, you're like the guy behind the counter at the liquor store serving alcohol to Alcoholics Anonymous, meeting coming on tonight. Like that's your job. Like that's what you do. You feed the hobby, and it is an addiction. And, it can be unhealthy if you can't afford it. The best comment I ever heard was, it's an addiction if I can't afford it. If I can, it's a hobby.
Correct.
Well, yeah. I
There you
mean,
go.
that's actually
Yep.
a good line. Ryan, I'm going to ask you a question now. Getting the artist's point of view, when you do an OA, how do you? And you're like, I'm ready to sell this piece. It's published or whatever it is. How do you gauge that price on it? How do you put that price on that OA?
I have the simplest answer ever. I say, babe, what should I sell this for?
I like that. I like
I
that.
love that. I love that.
It's actually, dude, I've been doing this.
He goes, we need new tires, $3 grand.
I've been doing it a long time, and I honestly, I still struggle with it. The bigger the piece, like the bigger the character, the more detail into it. That's what I kind of base off of what I sell things for. But I also try and keep things like I'm a collector, and I know what I can't afford. I've 15 years. The closest thing that I've got to a J. Scott Campbell, even sketch, is a remark that somebody traded me some of my OA for because I couldn't afford it. I've always tried to keep things at a price that most people can pay.
But
Stuff
most
like
artists,
this.
Ryan, am I correct? I mean, most artists, especially when you go to cons, and I'm sure it's going to be at OAX, they all have, they're all pulling from the same book, headshot, this much, body,
Yeah,
full
but
torso,
it kind of
they're the guideline, right?
yeah, we all have like the guideline, but like when it comes to OA, it's always changed. But it's the same basis as when I learned. When I got in, I had guys like Dave Johnson and Dan Penosian that were over my shoulder, like helping me out. And they were always like, you start low, you start at Taco Bell level. And the more you work, the more attention you get, the better stuff the longer you're on, the grayer your beard gets, the more you can go up. Like you're giving yourself an annual raise. Like, okay, I've done X amount of DC covers now. I've done X amount of Ninja Turtle covers. I think my OA can go from a couple $100 to, $750.
Yeah.
Or
and
whatever
not only
the case
that,
is.
for you, I imagine, and for many artists, it's supply and demand.
And,
right?
and part of that is.
Because if you've got 50 people lined up around the corner waiting for a commission, your prices are too low.
Yeah. That's it. And part of it, like you take a shot from Adam Hughes, man. Like his commission rate was like so reasonable in like 2009, 2000, or actually like 2012, 2014, whatever it was. And then when all the scalpers came on, when flipping became a huge thing, that dude was like, "Hold on, I know I sold you that for 300. You sold it."
Yeah, it was 400. He was doing. He would. His wife would take a line once the doors opened, and you couldn't line up before the doors opened, and a certain amount of $400 ones. Yeah.
And people were selling them for $2 grand. He was like, you know what? Now my rate's going to be this, and people lost their mind. They're like, why are you sell? Like, why is it okay for them to sell it at $2 grand, but I can't? I've had people deal with that a lot. Like they'll come to me like, Ryan, I want to do this, but I can't buy it from you for this and try and flip it for that. I'm like, well, that's a you problem.
That's right.
Like I'm not selling stuff to hope you can flip things. I'm selling stuff because this is what we do. Like this is my job.
One of the coolest things I ever saw was when I was at GalaxyCon and I met up with Ryan, and he showed me a 4-book connecting cover of the Fantastic Four. It was freaking sick.
Oh yeah.
Did that guy ever pick that up, by the way?
I have it. I'm going to crack them open.
Can you show it?
He paid a lot of money, but he graded them all. They just didn't all come back 9/8.
Oh,
he's that kind of guy. So
he didn't take them?
No, I did him on-site grading.
Oh, okay.
So when I showed him the grades, he's like, how can we get a 9/8? And I was like, easy. It's because of shit on the back. I got to crack them and I draw something on the back and regrade them. But I've had those guys since I started. Like, and I was, dude, when I moved out here 10 years ago to get to shows, I remember I would post on Facebook, it's going to cost me $300 for my table. I don't have that $300. I'll do 10 headshots for $30 a piece.
Yeah. There you go.
And it's every time you gain up. Like now, I think my headshots are like $250. I still have guys that are like, no, your headshots need to be $600 minimum. And I'm like, I can't do that. It's a freaking headshot. If I'm charging more than if I'm legitimately across from Arthur Adams, and he's charging $500 for a headshot, why are you trying to tell me $6? Like, fuck you. That math don't math.
there's this that's like respect, right? I'm not going to charge more than Art Adams coming. Let's be honest, right? And he's doing like a full blown body sketch. Anthony, that feeling you get when you sell a piece to someone who's like, hey man, I only have this much. You're like, hey, we can work something out, and I heard you also do payment plans and all that stuff. I would think there's got to be that inner feeling of happiness when someone's like, thank you, man. I've always wanted this piece. I've always wanted an OA of fill in the blank. Thank you, Anthony. If it wasn't for you, I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
be able to afford
that
this.
is a part of K-Van is talking about, flippers, but there are people that collect for the love of the material, the nostalgia of the material. And I do tell people I do have the love because I read comics when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, before I hit puberty in 8th grade. And I have that love of that original source material. And that's why I came back to the business uh, uh, and, and, and grew the business because I love the source material. And yeah, I have stuff that I'm nostalgic about because I read those stories when I was a kid. And I just want to finish with this because I drove 26 hours
No,
and
yeah,
I've
yeah.
just got to my
Expected.
room.
Sleepy.
Expected.
Sal Buscema just passed away. And
Yeah.
Sal Buscema was the guy that I read the most when I was a kid. He was doing Captain America. He was doing the Defenders. And Herb Trimpe was doing Hulk, and Rich Buckler was doing Fantastic Four, and that's what I thought comic books should look like. And the most of those were Sal Buscema, and it was. And I realized that, oh my God, I have more pages in my personal collection that were done by Sal from the stories I remember as a kid than anything else. So I do have that love of the source material. And there are people that collect for source, because of the nostalgia aspect and because they love the stuff. And then there's the flippers, and it's two different things. And I read people, and if I have the room, I'll give them room because like I wouldn't have a business if I didn't. It's not my business what you do with it after you pay me what I want. If I want $1,000 for that, and you think you can get 1,200, and that's a score for you, fine. Because talk about degenerate gamblers. I was born in Las Vegas to a degenerate gambler. Okay, so and he was really, really famous, really famous for
You
it.
guys know
Okay.
who's Anthony's dad?
No.
No.
Please.
Okay.
My dad was Jimmy the Greek. So he was the first guy on the NFL Today show to pick NFL games. The very first guy on national television to pick games out of Las Vegas. He wrote a sports column and proliferated the line, the Las Vegas line. So he was very, very famous in the 80s and late 70s and 80s. One of the
Yes, he
most
was.
famous people in America at the time. And
Yep.
but my old man, he was a sick gambler. And when you talk about degenerate gamblers, he should have been a billionaire like Steve Wynn or like that. But he just had to get the action, and that action, propelled him to. He didn't die with much. So I tricked myself because I'm a degenerate gambler at heart, and I spend all my money. I spend it all out on merchandise for resale, and so then I don't ruin myself.
Yeah, you could be rolling dice at a craps table, or you could buy yourself a nice piece of original art that you can.
There you go.
There you
What-
go.
when you
Go, Anthony.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because we've got some people in from IG. I did see someone before you go. Just tell us your favorite silver, bronze, and modern age artist before you go.
Oh, I just touched on that.
So
With
Sal
Sal
Buscema,
passing.
obviously.
Yeah, and it's basically my favorites are the guys that when I was reading books as a kid, who was on that title? Like Ross Andrew was on Spider-Man, Rich Buckler was on FF, and when I first started collecting original art and dealing in it, I'd like pick up a Kirby page, and I didn't feel the same way about it that I did like a Rich Buckler FF, and I know that sounds crazy, but I had to really, 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 really learn the value of the Kirby's and appreciate the Kirby's and the earlier stuff. And I did collect early Silver Age comics when I was a kid as well. So, but I wasn't as nostalgic about them as I was the Bronze Age stuff because I'm a Bronze Age kid, and, collect what you love and what you're nostalgic about, and, you'll never get hurt. So that's what I'd like to say. And I'm going to sign
Listen,
off
Anthony.
now.
See you later, Anthony.
Thanks,
Okay.
pal, for jumping
So
on.
if
You're
you're
a
coming to
trooper.
OAX, I got a triple boost setup, and I'm the gold sponsor here. So
And he's the first
Go
to
see
ever
him.
do a triple boost setup. If you were wondering, the first
yeah,
ever.
I have the largest art setup at the biggest art show ever in the world. So how's
If you're-
that, K-Band?
If you're in OAX in Orlando, go look them up. Go in there. Look for the biggest fucking
And I'm
booth.
buying. I'll buy slabs. I'll buy.
He'll buy
anything
everything.
you want
I'm gonna
bring
be
me.
there with him. We're gonna be on a
Yeah.
soapbox together.
That's
And
gonna be fantastic.
we're gonna do a stream from the
We are gonna do
show.
a stream. All right,
Thanks,
Anthony.
Anthony,
Anthony.
thanks for
All right.
jumping
Good
on.
night, everybody.
Appreciate you, pal.
Hey,
Good night.
Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate
Kevin,
you.
I wanna
Thanks
come
for
your way,
having me.
man.
Yeah, you got it, pal. Anytime.
Kevin, I want to come your
Um,
way for a question because I know Anthony said he's been doing it since the 90s, right? And I know you mentioned that you kind of began collecting and then you kind of were like, man, everybody's got the same books. You want to go a different route. When did you start getting into OA and why?
So
what kind of pulled you in?
So I started collecting like heavily a couple years ago. And I started on comic books because I grew up as a kid and my cousin used to have a bunch of comic books, but we did not have the money to buy comic books. So we would go to his house. And then a couple years back, right, at the tail end of COVID, I was bored. And I'm like, dude, I need a hobby. And then one of my good buddies was collecting comic books. I'm like, dude, I love comic books. I'd love to get back into that. And that's kind of how it started. So I started collecting comic books and I got into the mode of just buying everything I thought what looked good. And I'm a numbers guy. My business is in numbers. And so after collecting and buying, quite a bit, I started looking at the numbers in the business of comics. And then, of course, anytime I go into something, I want to learn how, like, the big boys get such good prices. So that's how I want to do it. I'm like, how are you getting these prices? Why can't I get them? Right. And the best way to do that is I met some sellers. And one of my best buddies now is Cove. And we started chatting and I started helping him with the numbers side of the business, not his business, but just numbers in general, because that's what I do for a living. I'm an advisor. And I started teaching him, hey, you got to do, you have to run your numbers this way. Otherwise, as a seller, you're just spinning your wheels. Long story short, we started, I offered to host him on IG because it was as much for me as it was for him, because I thought that was the quickest way I could get a seller's approach on how he goes about acquiring books and then what his margins are. And then after hosting him and understanding his numbers, I learned how to go and buy books, right? And that made it ultimately better for me. So I did that, and I have quite a bit of
Collector
money.
Cove is saying you learned it from him.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
learned from
Cove-
him. Yeah.
Cove's not wrong. Now Cove learned about money from me because he was just spinning his wheels. But the actual buying and selling and understanding margins and costs is all I learned everything from Cove, and most of that's from hosting. And so after a while, I started collecting books. The problem with comic books is that you're never ever going to be the only guy who owns it. It doesn't matter what grade it is. There's always another one. There just is.
But
And
you
so
won't
I
be
kind-
the only one who owns a one of one OA
That's
published
right.
art.
Then that's what triggered me over to OA. Is I started looking and seeing OA and being like, wow, this is fantastic. Like I have this piece and no one else has it, and I think I can and I start and even now, I have some bigger pieces, but I'm a nothing. I've met some people that make me look like a peasant in OA. Like I am literally at the bottom rung of a collector's ladder in OA. Like I have a couple of decent pieces that are upwards of 10, 15,000, that's nothing. Go
That-
watch
that's
a
why- that's why
heritage
you make-
auction.
That's why
Oh,
you
it's
make those
crazy.
posts, Kevin, where
Absolutely
you're like,
crazy.
if you make those posts like, if I had all the money, this is what I would be buying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like there's levels of collecting. I mean, I am at the bottom rung of an OA level. And there's the rabbit hole is so deep in OA. But that's the beauty. Like you asked Anthony, hey, the feeling you get when you sell a piece of art. I think one of the coolest things about original art and kind of bringing Anthony to the IG world is that I don't think people really thought they would be able to get into OA at the prices he was
Because
selling.
they think that the first thing people think of OA is
Intimidating.
thousands of dollars, right? It's
That's
like
right.
I'm never 10 to 15 thousands of dollars. Then when you meet someone like Anthony, is like, this piece is $800. You're like, I could own that for only $800, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when that person goes, wait a minute, is that a good deal? Or am I
That's right.
overpaying for this? And that's the hard dichotomy that you're going, fuck, I wish I could talk to someone who is into OA art so I could ask him, is this a good deal? Yes, it is a good deal. Go get it. Then you go in there and it's sold.
And I
It's
think
a good deal, but it's like I've seen so many people dive in and then they're just buying a little bit of everything, and then they suddenly want to get out of this character because their collecting focus has changed. It's only been 2 months. Like you gotta figure out what do you really love, what characters, and then just stick with it.
Well,
I
and
think
not only
that's the
that,
thing. It's characters are artists.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the only thing I was going to add, the thing that I've noticed about myself and other people in the hobby, there's a lot of people who collect comic books purely for the value of it, and less so for the passion, and less so for the passion and enjoyment of it. With art, there's not a single piece that I've bought with the intent to flip it. Every single piece that I have bought, I would happily keep. And if someone comes along when I'm running a show and I'm showing my shit off, and someone's like, "Holy cow, how much is that piece?" And I'm like, "Well, in my head, I'm like, I paid 500. You know, I'd sell it for 6 or 7." And they're like, "Claim 700." I'm like, "Okay,
You made
I'll go
200.
buy another one." Right? Like, the passion side of original art, I find it to be much more genuine than comic books, because you really do. I have people all the time ask me, "Hey, what's the value on this?" And I'm like, "Well, how much do you like it?" And because if you're just buying this because you think you're going to make a quick dollar, like, dude, prepare to get your ass handed to you, because art is so subjective that
Beyond.
it's like you might not have another guy come along that piece hits like it hit you for years. And you may never sell it.
It is very true, because there'll be times where you see a piece of art and someone's like, I just spent $1,300 for that. And you're like, oh, and you look at it, you're like, why? It's so fucking ugly. Right?
Art's subjective, my
And
dude.
the thing is, and he's going like, no, it's not. It's beautiful. And that's why, like you said, art is subjective. It's so hard.
Yeah.
I'll hop on that one.
What's
Hop on
that,
that one,
Ryan?
Ryan.
I see, like I follow all the groups you guys are seeing. Like I'm silently in like every comic book group. This is where I unleash, like, you guys are all assholes. Like, I won't post that stuff because snapshots are too easy. So art is subjective. We already made that clear. We also made very clear a piece is worth what the guy's gonna pay for it.
Correct.
We also follow trends. So I had to bite my tongue so hard on this one. Brett Dork.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
that
Brett
cover.
Bean.
Oh
Brett
my
Bean,
god.
great guy. If no one that has ever met Brett Bean, he's an awesome guy. I finally got to meet him in New York. I've loved his work for a while. Awesome guy, great book. I fucking got one. I have the sketch cover. I'm gonna do something fun on it. But what I saw was people in the comic book group post, I can buy legendary stuff for the price that this sketch cover went for. He did a sketch cover of Dork, and it went for like $2,500 or something like that. I've sold Black Cat sketch covers for $2,800. It's what somebody wants. The fact that
Yep.
somebody posted, why would somebody buy this shit? You can get legendary stuff from it. I don't see the hype. Like, shut the fuck up. No one cares.
Yeah,
I'm
no one
so
cares.
glad on somebody else's page that dude jumped on. He's because somebody commented, you'll never be able to sell for more than what you paid for it. And the guy commented, who said I was ever gonna fucking sell it?
S-
Worry
sell
about
it.
your own shit.
Love that.
Good
Love
good
that.
point, Ryan, because
And that's
people
the
right
point.
away people
That's
right away
the tactic.
assume
Everything bought is being sold.
everything's being flipped. Now
And
the stuff
that's
behind
the difference.
the stuff
Yep.
behind my wall,
Huge difference with original art.
I don't flip. I flip for the same book in a higher grade.
Right.
But I'm not gonna sell 10 of these to buy an ASM 1. I'm not or for a higher price than what I pay for it. I don't care. It doesn't do my thing. But it's and we talked about it in the green room, Kevin. Everything, all the claim shows that we see, and no disrespect to, we have many buddies who do claim shows and all such sellers and all this stuff, but it is the same books. And Dan and I have had this conversation many times.
Mhm.
It's the same books. You know, 266, X-Men 266. Oh, we got the Wolverine #1, and it's like, okay, all right. What do you got in prints? Oh, okay. No, I got, and then all of a sudden you start getting that. Oh, how much is that? Oh, do you have any Neo Adams? Do you have any of this? Do you have? No, I don't. Then all of a sudden that seller's going, maybe I should start investing in more prints and OA art, and then flip those.
You know,
Maybe.
it's,
You know,
it's
there's-
interesting because I feel like collectors have a different relationship with art than with a comic book. I mean, I enjoy reading comic books. Like I said, I like to look at them. I like the art. I respect the creators because that job is a grind, right? I mean, you don't go into being a creator thinking you're going to get rich. If you do, it's very lucky.
No.
You know,
Yeah,
You're very
we got
lucky.
one on the show.
I mean, and I have mad respect for this guy. I mean, the work he does, he's got more talent in his freaking pinky finger than I'll ever have, right? But the point is, it's a grind, and I appreciate the work. But I read a comic book, I put it in a box, I have a slab, I put it in the safe, never to see it again, whatever. Art, you buy it because you enjoy it, you put it on the wall, you walk by it daily, you look at it, you're like, fuck, it's beautiful. And to your point, people are like, wow, that's so fucking ugly. But to somebody else, one man's trash, another man's treasure. You put it on the wall, you enjoy it, you can look at it. Every day, you just get some kind of personal fulfillment or pleasure out of looking at that. And I think it's different than comic books. So, we always, like, I go back to saying, read what you love. And, you said, Kevin, you're on the bottom of the ladder of art, right? The bottom rung of the ladder. But I think the point of the matter really
by a
is,
mile.
but well, yeah, I mean, and me too, right? The point of the matter is, that being the case, though, comparison truly is a theft of joy. And if you get a piece
Right.
and you can put it on your wall and enjoy it,
Yep.
that's the price. That's worth it. Whatever you pay, that's what you get. That's the value.
It's funny that you say that, Dan, because I have two. They're not always, but I have two art pieces from right there. My Swamp Thing and that Spawn from Aaron, and he signed it. And I said, Aaron, can you at least address it to me? So unless I want to sell it to somebody else called Caesar, I'm never going to sell those because I had him personalize it to me because I'm not selling an Aaron Bartling print with the signature on it. I'm not. So put my name on it because it's never going to be sold, And
Well, and to your point about how to value art, that is actually one thing that does factor into valuing a piece of art. If it is personalized, and the same is true on comic books, it carries less value. A lot of people who buy art don't want it to be personalized. And as you get into the upper, levels of pieces, if it's personalized, that does affect the value. And so if you really want to just stick it to I'm never going to resell it, have them personalized. Ryan, from now on,
what's funny,
every
Kevin,
single
about that?
piece you put
You know what's funny about that?
as a
a lot to say,
requirement,
Ryan.
it has to be personalized.
I
Otherwise, you
I
can't get
never
it.
personalize things, and I'll tell you why. It's not because I'm in my mind going, I got to sell this, and if my name's on it, it's not going to sell. But to Anthony's point earlier, and he's friggin' right, this is just a recycling plant. I mean,
My
we're not
kids will
going to
have
be
to
here
do that
forever.
one
I'm
day.
going to have to liquidate this shit, and nobody wants my stuff with the name Dan
Well,
on it.
And that's with any piece of art. Like,
Yeah,
we're just caretakers for right
Yeah.
now.
yeah.
It's gonna leave my hands. Maybe they'll be with my family, but
Yeah,
It was-
it'll come to a point where it's not going to matter if it says to Sam. No one's
Yeah.
going to give a shit.
If the art's
Yeah.
good enough, it
You're right.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Listen,
No,
my
preference
when I
wise.
leave this earth, and my daughter she's gonna put those on the wall. She's like, those were signed to my dad because his name's on there, right? And I'm hoping that, or she's gonna marry, or she's gonna sell some guy named Caesar and sell it for $500. And I'm like, well, good for you, daughter. Even though I'm gonna haunt you to the in the
Right.
middle of the night and pull your feet while you sleep. But so I want to venture to a part of this OA art and art in general. What is it about this topic that infuriates you the most? What is it about art and does it bring the ugliness out of people sometimes where
100%, especially online. So here's the big difference, though, because I'm in both worlds: collector, artist, online, con goer, right? You go to a con and you get those guys that they're collectors and stuff. They proudly are walking around like, bro, I just got this Dan Moore piece. Check this the fuck out. And the guy next to you is like, that's dope. Like, good score, blah, 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 blah. You post that shit online and you're going to get one of these idiots that are like, why would you buy that? That's bullshit. You wasted your money. It's garbage. It's modern. They don't hold value. Modern comics are a joke. Here's the secret that I hate to tell everybody, and I've told this to some golden dudes, because there are some golden artists that don't like modern guys. They're all gonna die sometime. Modern people will be the legendary people.
at one point, yeah.
Modern art will be old art.
Look at Michael Turner.
Right. Look
There you
at
go.
Turner.
Yeah, Brian's gonna be in his 80s one day, and he's gonna be one of the legends, right? And
You know what,
and then,
But I got
I was
enough
at,
art to sell, so it's fine.
well,
I
you're already a
was at
legend. You're
Philadelphia.
already a legend in my heart, Ryan. You're already a legend in my heart.
I was at a Philadelphia Fan Expo, and it was when I was like first starting to collect in 2011, and Neil Adams was at his table, and people would come up and they'd be asking about like vintage pages and stuff. He's like, I don't have any of that stuff anymore. Like, why don't you just be like this guy? Buy a sketch from me for whatever I'm charging right now. I'm gonna die eventually. Like, just
Is
get
that
it
what he
now.
said?
Pay in
my
for it
God.
now, and then
Who was
That's
that?
how you
Who was
make
that,
out.
Sam?
Neil Adams.
Neil
Yeah.
Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say if you ask me what infuriates me about it, there's two things that I can think of, and I'll be honest, I haven't been doing it long. Like, this is I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to even be included in the conversation. But by all rights, am a infant, and I mean, I just started collecting books 2 years ago, 3 years, and art like a year ago. So I'm new. I've gotten a little bit of a head start because.
Kevin,
Again-
in collecting, 1 year is like dog years. You've been here for 7 years at least.
Okay,
now.
I'll take it. But
You're on
it's
the
true.
comic menu. You're gold.
yeah,
In the comment,
so-
this is it. Your family now, motherfucker.
yeah, I look at and I can't remember my guy who did not Ryan, above Ryan is
Who's Sam? Sam.
okay. So Sam says he was at a Neil Adams stand in 2011. I'm like, you son of a bitch! Like, how much could you have bought stuff from him back then and you didn't?
know.
Like,
I know.
I wasn't there doing it. I wish I was buying this stuff 10 years ago. But two things that I would, because for the most part, because I'm new, not a lot infuriates me. I'm having a blast, right? Like, I'm having a ton of fun. But there's two things that I would say infuriate me. One,
We
is
know,
people-
Gary. We know.
One is this is probably the most thing. People pricing art based on just an app. It's like the eBay sellers, when you go and look at a slab and they're like $10,000, and you're like, wait, like that slab sold for $1,000 like 50 times.
Right. Right.
Like
right.
I feel
right.
like there are certain people who do that because not
Yes.
because they can't price it because that's what they value it at. I don't mind if that was it. I just feel like there's too many of that people who are just trying to pull one over on someone who doesn't know any better. And
It-
that
it
I
re-
just don't like. I don't
it-
like.
That goes both ways, unfortunately. Because
It-
I've had people come like on our live streams on like Whatnot and stuff because I do a lot of sketching on there.
Uh-huh.
And again, some like, dude, I've done sketches with my nieces live, and I'm like I'm doing right now. Like, we'll do this, and at the end of it, like, here's the minimum start, and it goes for the minimum start, and then the next week we'll do the same kind of thing, and it goes for like quadruple.
Yeah.
I'll have guys come in, and they're like, well, I don't know why you're charging that much. I can get that shit on eBay for X amount of dollars. Your
Well,
work, and I'm like,
and
okay, well, somebody clearly just needs
Yeah.
to move stuff.
People who argue against auctions are idiots.
It
right?
happens. Sometimes people
I
just
believe
need to
it.
move to make money. 2, why are you arguing with me? Go fucking buy it off eBay then.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
right there.
It's the
Go.
sake. It's the
Go
sake
ahead
of
again.
arguing for the sake of arguing.
Because they want what
it
I'm
is.
doing right
Well,
now.
yeah, you know,
That-
we've
right.
said that we've said this before, right? People have to be contrary. They can't just let you. They can't go with the flow. They've got to. Oh, here's what my voice sounds like. Let me get it out there.
Yeah. Luckily
Yeah.
now I've been doing this long enough. I don't get a lot of that anymore. I get, hey Ryan, is this really you? I found it on eBay. If this is one of your pieces, it's going for cheap. I'm gonna buy that shit right now. And I go, yeah, send me a picture. Yeah, that's mine. They're like, buy it now. It's cool. It's mine.
See, that's awesome.
Hey, Ryan,
tell
do me
me
a
what
favor.
he's
Can you show me?
Oh,
Show
yeah.
my
I
girl
have
here.
Are you selling that?
At some point, but if you want to see it all, let me finish. I'll show you
Well,
what it all looks
How
like.
much will you sell it for? We'll sell it right now, live.
I don't
Caesar.
know. I ain't doing this. Ain't
There
no
you go.
claim thing. This ain't
Caesar,
claim
what,
post. We're on comp menu. You
Okay,
can hit me
I'm
up on
like-
Well, I'm
IG.
just saying.
I'm in many claims tonight.
We've
I'll tell you-
we've done auctions.
Anthony left
Hold
too.
on.
First time ever.
Hold-
Yeah.
Hold on, Kevin. For the record, we've had Ryan and Bartling quite a few times sketch for auction that goes to charity. We've done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I love
That's for sure.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and we've raised some good money on those two guys.
So,
Yeah,
there's one other thing I'll just make a real quick comment on that infuriates me about original art, and it's this.
I just told him no.
It's
Right, Brad.
it's myself. My inner self infuriates me because my natural inclination is to want what other people have.
That's everybody though. Don't
I
beat yourself up.
want. I see a buddy and he just got a sick piece of art, and all I can think about is I want that freaking piece of art.
Yeah,
Like, I want it.
I'm the same way. It's not just you. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Sure.
I see shit and I'm like, how did you son of a bitch?
Yes.
Right.
I want
But
that.
there's that sense. But there's that sense. But there's that sense of like, it's almost like, God, like, damn you, motherfucker. But I'm happy for you that you actually
Oh
had
yeah,
that, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's the reason why when I always tell people when I do live unboxings on IG, when I get a book or whatever, or I see people post their unboxing, this community should be like, good for you, motherfucker, that you were able to get that book. I envy you to all hell, but good for you. And maybe one day I'll get that. Instead of going, fuck you, you don't deserve that book.
Or what we do, Caesar, is we go, oh wow, he's got that, but you know he's probably not happy. They probably
He
not happy.
ain't gonna read it,
Yeah.
so it don't matter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what,
We were
I
at,
don't understand.
You have to
Sam and I were at
navigate-
we're at GalaxyCon, and I think it was GalaxyCon. We met Coley at Mutant City, and he goes, "Hey,
Yep.
do you guys know around the corner, Mark
Columbus.
Bagley? Yeah, in Columbus, Mark Bagley is selling
Headshots.
sketches, headshots, $100 a pop, and he's drawing them right there." And I think
Yeah.
you got one, Sam, didn't you?
I bought one within like 15 seconds later.
Yeah, he like freaking like vapor trail. Like Sam was
That was
gone.
gone.
And they were going like hotcakes. He had Spider-Man, he had Cap, he had MJ, Black Cat, like drawing them right there. And those are the times where you're like, to your point, Kevin, you're like, man, how do people get that? But sometimes you're also in the right place at the right time. You're like, holy shit, now
So-
you got it.
Good for you guys, bad for us. We make it good for us is when we do certain shows. like I'm notorious for shows. People have seen me. Our other artists make fun of me because like Galaxy Cons, we're treated just like celebrities there. We get the same badge. We get to meet and greet and blah blah blah. So I've got to meet tons of voice actors and actors and stuff. We'll do certain shows where inevitably you're gonna do a slow show. And you're like, fuck, I'm bored. And if you have ADHD like I do, you're like, how do I move? I need to draw. I need to move. I need to do something. So I would walk around. You probably saw me do it at multiple shows. Like I got Michaela Hoover, who's Cat Grant in the new Superman movie. I got her to sign one. Why? I'll draw Cat Grant. I'll either keep it or I'll sell it. I got Ron Perlman to do, Optimus Primal.
Awesome.
We'll do crap like that. But I would see like friends be like, oh, I just got this. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, I'm out. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm out. Go grab that. Go grab this sketch. Go do that. I did it in Columbus with freaking Dan Mora. Because Mora was there. I was like, he's doing what? Hold on.
Yeah.
And he is the nicest.
Oh, he was
guy.
so nice.
The nicest
and I
guy.
think, with art, the reason why it infuriates me is because, and this is why it's so much better, because when I saw Buddy with a comic book, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. Not only did I go get that book, I got a higher grade than him. And I was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, look at you now.
Yeah, I do that all the time. We're like, they're like, oh, I got an X-Men 12, the first Juggernaut, and a 3.5. I'm like, oh yeah, mine's a 5.0, motherfucker. So I'm like,
right.
I win,
Yeah.
but you win, but I win even better.
Can't do it with
But
art.
with art, the only way I can't one up him.
You can't.
You can't.
I can't
So,
even
my
have his
people-
piece.
final.
My people have learned how to one up. So I'll do a piece, like I'll do we'll say Black Cat, and it'll be like a cool headshot. I'll get the guys like, I got outbid on Whatnot, Ryan. I need a bus shot. So then I'll do the bus shot, and then the guy will come back and be like, Ryan, torso, like make it better, and they will name him. Make it better than so.
That's great for you, Ryan.
Make it better.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So,
But it's just
so from
funny
the-
because it's like, how do you one up an art? You get a bigger piece.
That's right. And therein lies what we're doing as collectors
Amazing.
and in this hobby. In the end, aside from being degenerate gamblers, I think in the same sentence you can just say it out loud. It's just a big dick swinging contest.
Well, can I
that's
also
what-
add?
Correct.
Can I also add one thing? And this is old man Dan talking, so don't let it steal anybody's thunder here. But everything, this is not just related to art. Everything is getting more fucking expensive anymore. Like everything. I mean, we're talking groceries to fucking tickets. I mean, it doesn't matter. And the problem with that is, with tickets and shit, you can say fuck them. Like I'm not going to support Ticketmaster, the corporate machine, the hell with them, or whatever that is. You can do that. But then what happens is you go to these cons, and everywhere you look, they want your money. I mean, everywhere, like a photo op of signature. I mean, the dude that did the voice in a show that we like was charging $60 a signature. He was the voice. You don't even see him. He was just the voice. And I mean, I'm not knocking the guy. It's so worth it. Yeah, I'm not knocking anybody, but those guys, those great creators, those great artists, they unfortunately, and we have to kind of temper ourselves, they get washed in with everything else that's so fucking expensive for no real good reason, right? Like toothpaste costs more money. They're not doing anything new with toothpaste. Our taxes go up. They didn't do anything to get more tax money, but the artists are continuing to innovate, continuing to create better. They, if anything, like teachers, deserve more fucking money, and we're always like, no, you can't have any more money, but they actually do deserve it. I mean, so I personally have to be careful about that kind of shit when I go to shows. I'm like, that's worth it. That's joy. That's something I enjoy. I'll skip the fucking concession stand. Screw it,
Well, and
Right.
and again, going back to kind of the core of it, like again, why do I like art? And I still have a great comic book collection. I mean, I've thinned it out. Like last week, I decided last minute that I was going to go to OAX, and I've kind of in my own head, I allocated a certain dollar amount to my collection. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to buy something, I got to sell something, right? Like
Right.
I'm keeping it all in this bubble of
Sure.
what I put into it. So last
Right.
week I decided I bought a ticket to OAX, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go sell some books because
for
I
the-
need some
pay
funds
for the
for
trip.
OAX, you know?
That's right.
And again, why I think I like art more is because you can, at the lowest level, $50, $100, have something that no one else can.
Yep.
And with the
What-
book,
Yeah.
someone can always one up you, and someone's always going to have the exact same thing. And so you
100%.
you get the fulfillment of being one of a kind, and you can pick your price point, whether it's
Right.
$50, whether it's
And-
50,000.
And if you want, you could have the biggest dick in the fucking room. You know, when you have that room,
Oh,
There you go.
you know, when you have that party, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I have a higher grade of that. Oh yeah, well, I have an original published art, one of fuck you too, because you're
Yeah,
not going to
right.
have it.
But here's
know
the
what I mean?
thing, like Dan was saying, like everything is higher, man. Everything costs so much more everywhere. A lot of artists, like, we're not dumb. We know that. Now there are pricks that, you know, if somebody's like, oh man, could you do, you know, can you knock $100 off? There's definitely the dicks that are like, you go fuck yourself. No.
I could never ask an artist to do that. I could.
If I know you're a
I'll never
collector,
do
if
it.
I know, like, you can tell who's flipping, who's not. You can tell a lot of, like, real quick, you can tell some shit. There's a lot of times, man, where I've, even at New York, like, there was somebody that really wanted something, and he just didn't have the money for it. I was like, here, dude, it's a fucking comic book. It wasn't art. It was just a book. I've played heads or tails on pricing with a little old lady who was following her son around collecting sketch covers, and I was like, I think the sketch cover was like $300, and she's like, I'll give you 100. I said 300. She said 150. I said 300. She said heads or tails. You win, I pay you 300. I win, I pay you 150. And I laughed. I was like, you know what? Sure as fuck, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, and I
this
think you
was
bring
like
up a good
70-year-old
point.
Tell me you
lady. I'm
won.
like, let's do it. Let's
Did
have
you
fun.
win?
Did you win?
I was gonna lose regardless. The fact that she was smiling, having so much fun, I'm like, I'm gonna give it to her cheap anyways.
He lost.
But she,
Yeah, that's great.
no, I won, but I lost.
Oh,
I charge her 700 for wasting my time.
I come at it from a different
Yeah, I was like,
standpoint.
you're not paying me full price regardless. But it's
And
just the
that's-
fun. But we know, like, some people are collectors, they just can't. It's just not feasible. When you can barely afford to pay for eggs or gas right now, I'm not expecting you to break your bank to buy a sketch from me. Let's figure something out.
Hey,
That's because Ryan has a heart.
Yeah, Ryan, I need
He is
a
he is
few
amazing.
pieces, but I'm sleeping in a tent on the corner tonight. And so just remember
I mean,
that
I have
after
a
the
basement
show.
and a warehouse you can sleep in, but you can't have
As,
a
This is what we talked about the deal.
Kevin sits in his leather-bound chair, you
Yeah,
know, with his
with the
books
Revenge of the
This is
Jedi
my,
posters
this is my
behind
cousin's
you that are
garage I'm
probably
in
signed.
over here.
His-
Is,
his-
is the poster behind you signed?
yeah,
Yeah, no,
His-
no, it's not. It's
his
not.
house
Either
smells like
one of them?
mahogany.
You know,
Leather-bound books.
The other thing I'll add on, and this is something that for me is a different kind of enjoyment. Like for me,
The posters behind Kevin are color sketches.
yeah, those are just I had my daughter color them in. The dream, you know. But for me, and I have a different approach when it comes to buying. To me, it's not. I like the dicker. I love the back and forth, and I know a lot of people are very, very uncomfortable with that.
I
Like,
love it.
I love the
Sure.
dicker. I'll go up to and for me, that's almost as enjoyable as getting the final product. Is
know,
the
but Kevin-
conversation I
But
strike.
Kevin, it's different if you go to a car dealership and you're nickel and diming them than if you go to an artist with their blood, sweat, and tears. I can't do it. I can't do
can't.
it.
You're
I got-
not being completely serious and a dickhead about it. It's actually fun.
I love. Yeah, I'm very I mean, you guys see my personality. I come in, I say what, other people probably wouldn't say. And I'll say to an artist, I'll be like, hey, how much is that? And he'll be like, it's $150. And I'm like, well, how much would it be if I bought 3 pieces? And then he'll be like, well, I could do, oh, well, hey, just out of curiosity, what if I bought this whole fucking binder? Like, what kind of deal are you going to give me on that? To me,
That's different than, well, I don't think you're worth 300, maybe 250. If
right.
you go in playing games, I'm all for it. I've had dudes buy 8 original pieces from me at one show,
Yeah.
and they were just like, I'm buying 8, so it's like half off, right? And I'm like, yeah, try again. All right, well then like 3/4 off, and I'm like, how about like a 10th off?
Yeah.
Just fun.
And to me, I go in it to meet people. Like I was at LA Con and I struck up a conversation.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's close to my house, so I don't, I don't
grew up out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not in LA, thank God. But
Where?
I went over there and I met Frank Forte. Do you know who that is, Ray?
You what?
Frank Forte. Frank Forte. He worked on Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, but where are you located?
Oh, I'm in Huntington Beach.
Okay, I grew up Huntington, like Magnolia 405,
Oh,
Fountain Valley.
right down the street.
Oh, yeah. I grew up in Wilmington.
Okay.
Motherfuckers.
So I met Frank, nicest guy in the world, cool art, cool style, and I started just chatting it up with him. By the way, he's ridiculously fairly priced, right? Because I think a lot of these artists, my biggest comment on artists is that they undervalue their talent, like big time. And
See, I have the reverse. I think older artists undervalue and newer artists overvalue.
Well, Frank's in
You
his
have a point.
40s, so I don't know what older is to you.
No, I mean like they've put in their time. They're not fresh meat.
Yeah, so Frank's been around, and I'm like, dude, like, but I struck up a conversation, and right out of the gate, I'm like, dude, these prices are awesome. But I'm upfront with these artists. I'm like, dude, I run an IG show, and we sell comic books and we sell art. Like, I'd be willing to buy a bunch of these, but I'm gonna look to resell them. So I'd be looking to buy them at a lower price than what you have. And then here's the thing I always say to artists, and I've only had a couple take me up on it. I'm like, or you could just come on and I'll host you and we'll sell the shit out of your stuff.
See, that's what I do. I've told people, because I have representation, and I'm like, they sell my art a lot. But I've told them, like, I'm going to still do my shows and stuff because no one can sell my art and get what I can get for it.
Absolutely. But very few artists are like you.
None.
Exactly. So right. I've done this a couple of times where I've offered to an artist, hey, you've got 10 pieces worth $1,000. I think they're worth every bit of it. I mean, I'll pay you $650 because I'm going to resell 8 of them and I'm going to keep 2 for myself and basically pay for my 2. Right. And I'm like, but I will give you the option to come on the show and sell these yourself. You know how many have taken me up on it? None. Most of them take the quick cash. They're like, give me the $650 and I'll move on with my day.
Because it's like, because Kevin, it's work.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to go, and they have to set up a time that you have to display.
But that's my approach when I talk to.
And they're gonna have to ship, and they're gonna have to ship.
And they
don't want to do that shit.
Deadlines.
They don't want to do
all of that.
So like when you say you don't want to ask, I do it in a way in which I'm very transparent. Like I will tell an art, like, hey, my goal on every piece of art I pick up from an artist is to buy 5. Sell 4 and keep 1 for free, or sell 3 and keep 2 for free. That's how I approach it, so that I end up getting free art.
It's business math.
Yeah, that's exactly how I approach it. And then I tell the artist that, right? And I buy in the amount of quantity they need to make that make sense for them.
Yeah.
Fucking Futz asked. Let me ask everyone in the room on SIGs, what do you think when you see a Stan SIG? Should it deserve twice as much of a premium over a blue?
Wow, so that's a broad question, because a Stanley SIG on a Fantastic Four 1 versus a Stanley SIG on some random book in the 2000s is a big difference in how it carries value.
And if he's 95 signing compared to 1972,
there's a big variance.
Stanley.
I had a seller tell me that their Stanley SIG starts at $250 and goes up from there. $250.
I have a Mjolnir signed by Stanley certified. What's that worth?
I don't even know what the
Whatever
Mjolnir
someone's willing to pay
is.
for
What
it.
is
You
it?
don't know
Thor's
Thor's
hammer.
hammer?
Thor's hammer.
Kevin.
What is
He's
that?
new.
Like?
Man,
He's new.
you are just new. Come, give the guy a break, Dan.
Oh,
Jesus.
Kevin.
I didn't know that was what its name was. What is it called?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Or meow meow. depending on what show you're
Mjolnir.
watching.
Yeah.
Mjolnir.
There you go. No, I did not know that's what he called his hammer. I mean, my
Hey,
wife.
who's going? Is anybody going to MegaCon? Are you guys going?
No, I'm going to Heroes Con. Are you going to Heroes?
Yeah, I'll see you there. I hope I can see you there.
I might. I don't know. It depends if PCB wants me there or not. No, I just got
Why
excited
don't you
because
just drop your rep and take them, kick them out the door, and sell all your art yourself? They can't do as good as you can.
oh no, I do still sell my art.
Yeah,
They
he's
just
okay,
sell
good.
other stuff.
What's your take on reps? What's your take on reps? Obviously, you probably have to be somewhat cautious since you have one.
No, I was really upfront with these guys. I've been approached by different reps, playfully for years, seriously for a couple years by a couple sellers. I had one at MegaCon one year, and Be Gentle, and it was great because my wife was there, and then everyone calls my wife boss lady in the industry because she's a hard ass.
Good.
And this
No.
guy was like, "Hey, I'd love to represent you. I'm so and so," and I'm still friends with this guy today. And my wife was like, "Okay, well, like, what's the deal?" And he goes, "This is what I can do for you. This is what the fee would be. Blah 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 blah. Here's everything entails." She goes, "Okay, so you get him into MegaCon," and he's like, "Yeah, I get him into MegaCon." She's like, "He already does that on his own."
Yeah.
Well, I do this, okay, but that's what I'm here for. That's what my wife does.
Good for
Well, then
her.
I do this. She goes, "So if you get 10%, even at 10%, she's like, if you get 10% of what my husband and I make at a con, I would have had to give you $2,000 for this show already. What did you do to earn that $10,000 that we didn't do for ourselves?"
Yeah.
And there wasn't really a good answer. He's like, "Oh well." She's like, "Yeah, that's a no."
That's right. That's what I thought.
And that's what most of the reps are that I know.
Good on
A
her.
lot of the smaller guys, it's like, "Hey, we're gonna take you to shows. I can get into shows. We'll do this."
Right.
Well,
I could do that
already
myself.
Now
See, like-
there are reps like mine and a few others that are like, "Hey, we want to represent you and do the stuff that you don't have time to do for yourself anymore, or to get that shit off your plate to where you can just draw and do what you want to do." Not only that, but here, we're gonna finance to get you on this cover, to get you on that cover. We're gonna put you on that
Okay.
cover. We're gonna get you on that
So
cover.
that side I've never heard. That I get. Or like if a rep comes up to you and says, "Hey, I've got, thousands of people trafficking through my website, of which we're going to, list and price your art, and we're going to show it to so many eyes and basically do," like, I get that side, but here's the thing I don't understand, and maybe you can shed some light on this. Like, I look at a guy like Jim Lee, right? I mean, his stuff is going for 10 grand and up,
Yeah.
right? And all I can think about is how many hands are in that pie,
Mm.
and how much cheaper it would be to the end collector if he just posted it on a website, because people will buy it hand over
So
fist.
with and I'll say, not that I know, like I've met Jim a few times, but I don't know him personally. My view on that would be a guy in Jim's status is so busy with shit. It's just the
You-
responsibility of finding
he
it,
needs-
getting
he
it,
needs
shipping
someone.
it,
Yeah.
insuring it, doing this, doing that. You just have a guy
Mhm.
that has it all. There you
And
go.
don't you
He-
think it
he's-
depends on the
he-
rep
yeah.
too? I mean, like we had Matt DiTullio on. Matt bends over backwards for the people he reps. I mean, Eastside.
Right.
and
Matt
some
is
of
a
the-
great rep.
Yeah,
There
I
are
mean,
reps that really
ships.
want
He ships. He handles the
Yeah.
tables. I mean, he does everything.
there are reps that really want to help push your career in the right direction. That's that representation part. Dude, I got the guy like, "Ryan, what's the con schedule?" The reason I say I don't know if I'm doing Heroes is they don't want me to sign up for any more cons. They want to take care of all that. So I don't know if I'm going or not. If they decide they want me there, I'll be there.
What's the reasoning behind MegaCon not wanting people to go to OAX? What's that? I've never heard.
So let's put it everyone on this show knows I'm 100% real, unless you are a comic book fan, and then that's if the attendance population is this for the entire weekend. Here's comic book fans.
Mm-hmm.
Here's art collectors.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking that away from the show because they're going to another show, why have you there? We're already such a niche part of attendance for the con that if you're driving attendance to another con, they don't really want you to be a
It's
guest.
competition.
And pay for you to be there.
Even when they're a month
only
apart?
competition. What?
Even when they're a month apart, almost.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So a lot of contracts, it's 3 months or 6 months away,
Really?
Okay.
and some
So if you-
places ridiculous 500 miles out.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
not a lot, but there have been some.
Wow. I've never heard. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You're saying,
So there's shows that it is what it is, but there are reps that really they do their due diligence, man. They are there to do a job for you and make life easier for the artist. Like the guy, PCB is doing a great job at make Brian. You want to just draw? We're gonna let you just draw.
And does that, and that's so like the way that works is an artist, you hand them over 10 pieces and then that's within what they make their commission on, or is there or it's not always the work?
Every detail is different
It's
with every
different.
artist. Because I do certain things where I'm like, I'm not gonna give this up. Like I write and publish and draw 3 of my own books, and I'm like, I'm not gonna stop that. And they don't want anything to do with that. They're like, that's all you. They want to take care of like con appearances, that way I don't have to do everything myself. I'm used to doing everything myself. I'm okay with it. I'm struggling with, they're like, here's your con list you gave us. We'll fly so-and-so out to this show and so-and-so out to help you at this show. And I'm like laughing, like, fuck, for what? They're like,
Does
set
the
up,
rep
so.
pay for you do they pay for your
Yes.
flight?
Yeah.
And okay. That's okay. Cool.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Ryan at a show, Ryan is like, it's Ryan,
Yeah.
and his little booth, and his little rack, and he's there for the most part with his head down because he's drawing.
Yeah.
That's Ryan. He doesn't need
Yeah.
an assistant. Honestly, he doesn't need a helper. He doesn't. Ryan's just, so he's.
Well,
I can see
my head will be
we're gonna
down
fly
drawing
somebody
it.
out for you, Ryan. Right? We're gonna fly someone out for you. You're like,
So
what?
the reason I ask is because I mean, obviously everything we're talking about is fun and this is all enjoyable for me. But the biggest thing I've gained from collecting in this hobby is meeting people in the community.
Right.
And so I'm not going to OAX because I'm trying to buy something. I mean, I probably will. I'm going to OAX because all I can think about is how many cool artists am I going to talk to and
Right.
get a one-on-one. And in my head, how many of those artists, and I'm just genuinely curious, if I said, hey, we've moved $300,000 worth of art, like there's an app in 3 months, there's an appetite for what you do that isn't reaching a lot of people, or they don't even know it's attainable. Why don't you come on?
But
and
the problem,
I
Kevin,
don't know
this
what
is.
kind of reception I would get. It sounds to me like they're all going to be like, sorry, my rep's going to tell you to go F off.
You just talk,
wow.
some you talk to the reps. Some you guys
Yeah.
like me that I would talk to my rep and be like, hey, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'll just shoot stuff to you. Like, whatever their deal is.
Stan, stop.
Hold on, Ryan. I imagine your booth rate in Artist Alley is a lot less than a vendor booth, let's say at SDCC. You'd be
Ryan did
surprised.
this for me at a show. Ryan did this for me at a show.
I did not do that shit.
He did not do that.
On me.
He did not do that remark whatsoever.
Don't put that crap on me.
Yeah, the
Hey,
the
Kevin,
thing
you know who
is,
this is? Kevin, do you know who this is? Wait,
I'm trying to. Yes, I got
All
that
right.
one. That's Supergirl.
No, but you know
Hold on.
who this is? You know who did this?
Oh, that's what you're saying, Ryan. No, I have no idea. I can't see it. What's it say?
it's not what it says.
Is there words at the bottom?
That's
a remark.
That's a
Oh,
remark.
It's a remark.
Yeah, it's my 7-year-old's drawing of Superman.
It's Jeff Loeb.
That's Jeff
It's
Loeb.
Jeff Loeb. Yeah.
Yikes.
So the thing. Listen, all right, we're winding down to the show, but this is one of the problems that you might run into, Kevin, when you ask an artist, "Hey, what to come into the show?" and I know we can move, whatever. It's what I said earlier. They don't want to put in the work of shipping, and now they're gonna have to hire someone to do the shipping and the packing and all that stuff, and they're like, "Fuck no."
That's
I could sell.
another reason they have representation.
Yeah, they're like, no, that's why I have someone else do this for me. I don't want to spend my whole Saturday, now I have to realize who goes to what and packing, and then I gotta call the post office. They just, it's tough. It's
So
tough to
when
do.
I
that.
think of it,
Website or do like
yeah,
there's so
when
much.
I think of it, and this is kind of how I always approach. And I think, one of the things that's fun for me is that I'm very unconventional in the way that I host. I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen, the IG shows, but, I just beat up the sellers and, I'm like for the people, right? Like I'm trying to drive deals for them because to me, it's how do we get it into their hands with as much equity out of the gate so they feel great about what they just bought. Like
Right.
that's my mentality.
I'll vouch for Kevin's shows. If it's someone,
I'm gonna have to watch one. So then I
let's just say Cove. Let's just say Cove was like $1,000 for this book, and someone's like, "I'll give you $850." Kevin's like, "Give him the fucking $850." All right, just give it to the guy, and he's like, "Okay,
we can do it."
So
hold on.
So
I'm gonna
when
answer
I
this
think
dude
of
real
it,
quick.
I think of it in terms of like I want buyers to feel good about what they're buying. And if I can drive them towards that in the most clean and most efficient and cleanest way possible, that's what I'm trying to do. So when I think about going to OAX, all I can think about in my head, the way my head works is,
it's
hey,
networking.
It is one, if you had 3 people with their hands in the pie, right, that you have to pay out, right? And that piece normally is 500.
It eats the margin.
You only get 350 at the end of the rainbow. Like, what if we found a way to just get it to the end collector at 350 and they're right out of the gate, like they're loving life. Like that's the way my head works, right? And of course, I don't pay attention to all the things that you just said, Ryan, which, because I don't know about them, right? I'm coming in just like a bulldozer.
Kevin, don't you also, you're a numbers guy too. Don't you also kind of agree that sometimes to make money, you've got to spend some money too? I mean, it's a necessity.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
So, that might be some of the cost that is required to come and capitalize on what you can make.
Well, and part of the reason why I've been able to do and do what I do it for free.
Yeah.
Like most hosts are charging, right? And they're charging this and that and X amount. I do it because I truly am having a blast, right? I realize that my model's not sustainable. But while I'm having fun, my goal is to just get it down to the meat and potatoes, right?
Yeah.
So Knucking Futz, I'm assuming Knucking Futz is a vendor.
I think he does set up at shows, I believe.
Okay. So here's how I break this down, because I've had this with a lot of people, and I know vendors how much like you guys spend on some of these spaces, because I've bought in vendor booths at certain shows, and I know how much a San Diego one costs. But let's break this down. You're gonna meet the artist that actually knows numbers and mathematical shit. If I buy a booth that's, we're gonna say it's $5,000, and you buy a booth that's $10,000, okay? I can only sell shit that I do. My books, my prints, my art, my commissions, my whatever. You can sell 10,000 different artists, 10,000 different books. You can sell to everybody. I'm only selling to my own fan base, or hopefully people that like want the work that I worked on, like TMNT or Batman, Superman. So it is just as hard for us to hit that amount, that number we need to hit, because I'm selling myself. That's it. You're selling the entire comic community.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I get a lot of sellers that are like, "Oh, you have it easy. Like you don't pay as much." Last time I did San Diego Comic Con, it cost me 10 grand.
Yeah.
As an artist, it cost me
There's-
10 grand to be
There's
there.
a reason why artists
And
don't do.
you paid it out of
SDCC.
pocket, Ryan?
I paid it.
Wow.
No, I paid it. At that
Now,
time,
did
I
you-
didn't have reps.
Did you come out ahead?
Yeah, by streaming and selling and grinding.
But he had to put in the work.
I worked from the moment I woke up till midnight every day.
And
Did
would
the
you say
show,
it
I
was
went and
worth?
streamed.
Was it worth the 10K?
It's worth the fun. It's worth the networking.
Got it.
I get a lot of jobs doing that
Yeah.
on the other side.
But there's reasons why a lot of artists won't go because they're like, it's just too much.
Right,
And they'll
but-
come back
but
and go, I don't come out on ahead.
But some sellers are oblivious to like our side of it. They're like, oh, it's this, and I'm saying like Nucking Futz's comment was offensive or anything by any means. He just brought up a good point. Like people don't see that side.
Mhm.
We have to deal with a lot. Like vendors, again, like even an art rep. Like you're selling every artist's art that you can get your hands on. I'm selling mine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, you know. I'm gonna give a shout out to my homeboy Ryan. You know, I went to a con and I hate to do this to you, Ryan, but you know, I'm gonna sell this Ryan piece right here for $10,000 because it has a signature on it.
My logo, buddy.
It's Lobo's real hot right now. Look at this. That Ryan. This is one of my favorite pieces from Ryan because it's the only piece I have from Ryan. So it's one of my favorite pieces I have from Ryan. We finally met at MegaCon and he goes, open it up and like pretend you're reading it so I
I
can take
have
a
that
picture.
still.
So Ryan has a picture of me pretending to read a book. All right, guys. So this is about the time of the show where we start to wind down. We're actually going a little bit over. And see, Kevin, I told you, 2 hours fucking fly
Yeah,
by.
flies
And
by.
if we didn't
I
want,
have
we
no
could.
idea. How did we do? Like, I couldn't tell how many people were in here. Did we? Because
I-
I, didn't
A
know
lot
any
watch
Instagram.
later.
A lot of people watch later, you know, because they
I
can't watch
posted a
it.
picture of me with my eyes closed on my IG because I was on
Dan
my.
does the same thing to us half the
I
time.
was on
The
my
picture he takes
computer.
of us.
I never post anything from my computer, but I'm like, shit, I'm using my phone. So like, how do I show?
I-
So
I
literally
grabbed
took
I grabbed a
screenshot.
screenshot, and you look pretty good in it, Kevin. I don't know. Sam kind of looks rough, but that's all right.
Thanks.
I was like,
Thank you.
like the picture
You got
froze,
the
and I
cute
like
hot there,
this.
right?
Sam always looks a little rough. It's a perfectly
Well,
fine. But this
The way
is the
you
time.
yeah, if we would have ran this on IG, I think we would have had it. Usually we
Oh,
get
no,
between
listen,
30 and
it-
60
it's-
people.
It's rough running with IG. You would have it's a whole thing with stream. That's why a lot of times you don't see streams running on IG. I don't know if you noticed that. You won't because you got to do this. You got to open up IG, then you got to then you got to link it and all that at almost like in real time. It's a pain in the ass. you know.
Interesting.
But
Well, good.
But
I had fun. I mean, it's
right,
great.
I told you learn something. You always learn something from the show, right?
I
Ryan,
learned what
Ryan.
Thor's hammer's name is.
Your name.
The thing is, Dan wasn't talking about the hammer. So one of
It's a
the things,
metaphor.
a couple of things. One of the things, one, you always learn something from the stupid show. Two, you said you like to meet people. Hang in there, kid, because I introduce a lot of good people to a lot of good people on this show. No
Yes,
joke.
It's great.
It is. Ish isn't here today, but Ish always says this show
Dude.
brings people together that you normally wouldn't meet. And it's
love
funny
that.
because you end up getting friendships. Sam met Dan because of this show, and now they're hanging out at cons. You know, Dan met Ryan because of the show, and they got to, see each other thing. It's just one
I
of those
saw
things
Sam in
that
casting in New York. It was like, hey.
I know.
so
That was about it.
it's one of those things that it
Booyah,
is.
you got it.
It's a good community, man. So I'm glad, Kevin, that I finally got you bring you on.
No, I
And I
love
tell
it.
you what, homeboy, you're now part of the family. So
I
when
love it.
there's a hot topic coming on, I'm gonna hit you up and say,
I
hey,
just know
come
I'm
on.
not allowed to show sketches when Kevin's on.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
gonna want to fucking buy every single one. So let's do this. This is the part of the show where I go around and you promote yourself and all that. So we're gonna go to the guy who has the least to promote. Where is he? Oh, I thought he was frozen. All right, let's go, my little Habibi. Come on, let's go.
Habibi.
What a great show! You said who said it earlier? Like you learn something every time we join the show. It's truth. I mean, very entertaining show. Love the conversations going on, whether you join via Facebook or YouTube. Just some good comments, good questions, guys. If you don't see me here, you can follow me on Instagram, Tree City Comics. I'm always posting about books I'm reading, shows I'm watching, anime, manga, mainstream, Marvel, DC, Image, indie books. I'm watching and reading as much as I can. I'd love to connect with you there, and you can see my posts and comment and tell me what you think. Every Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, I do post about the books that I'm reading, and you can comment in and let me know if you agree or disagree. If you're reading what I'm reading, I'd love to hear from you. And I think that's it right now. I don't really have a lot happening. Just can't wait for the nice sunny weather to show back up here. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for having me, Caesar.
Having you. I always have you, dumbass.
Thank you for having me again.
Okay.
Thanks
Sam.
for having me next week.
Yeah, I will have you next week.
Amazing conversation. I appreciate you having me here, Caesar, every single week. It's a blast. What do I got going on right now? You can follow me at Comic Sam Collects. On our team page, Sequential Art Comics, we just released our Invincible #1 in collaboration with Flops. Print run of 1,500. I think we sold through about half the print run already, so take a look at that. I think we have a couple copies left of Comics the Magazine #1, our collaboration with Sveta Shubina. I think maybe 10 graded copies left, and then we're sold out completely.
Great looking cover. Do you still have a cover art in front of you?
For that? So
great cover.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big deal because it features 3 characters that are in her Kickstarter that just started. So we're having a lot of success right now, so it's exciting. We've got books coming up for about 4 different Image titles and maybe 2 to 3 DCs coming up. So just stay tuned. It's going to be a big year.
All right. And he has Whatnot shows, eBay. This guy's all over the fucking place. He's all over the place. Just go look about Comic Sam Collects. All right, Ryan, what do you got going on, my man?
Oh, everything under the sun. Tomorrow I'm gonna get a turkey sandwich, maybe walk the dogs.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. It's a busy day.
I'm telling you.
Dude, March, the World Cup coming in has thrown a wrench in comic world. So March is crazy, man. I go from Fan Expo Cleveland to MegaCon straight over to Planet City Comic Con with a live stream with PCB Hobbies. We're dropping all sorts of books. We have Something is Killing the Children dropping with myself and Aaron Bartling. We're dropping a Battle Beast #7 is live on my website right now for MegaCon. PCB Hobby and I were dropping 2 different Invincible covers. Myself and Aaron Bartling again are dropping an Invincible Returns cover at PlanetCon. Just, dude, it's one crazy cover after another right now. And then of course I'm on Whatnot all the time, just drawing, hanging out, having fun. That's the easiest way to find art and stuff from me, myself, or PCB Hobby. Yeah, dude. Other than that, I don't I have a few cons here and there scattered, and I have no idea where I'm going to be or what I'm on next. Every other day, I get a different email on, hey, let's work on this. Oh, I have a He-Man cover coming out.
Oh,
yeah. Which is the first time I've ever done He-Man. But who I had to draw, right? Who do you think they made me draw?
Skeletor.
Tila.
Tila. Yeah. I got Tila, the Empress, and or Sorceress, and Man at Arms.
Can I ask
Where do your covers usually sell, Ryan?
Say that one more time separately.
The original art for your covers, where do they usually end up selling?
Some are mine. A lot of them are with PCB Hobby.
Okay.
So certain covers, certain exclusives, I do have. I actually have some. I'll break your heart right now because I'm going to tell you no. But here's Invincible Returns, Thrag.
So how much is that?
Usually something like that is $1,500.
Are you selling it?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet.
He's gonna break your heart.
I told you I'm breaking my heart, but these ones will be through PCB Hobby.
That's the one I want.
Gorgeous.
So these are all
Uh,
covers.
Or the
Yeah,
Invincible.
yeah, these are all
Yeah.
covers.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now who does the colors? You, or do you
I
have a
have
colorist?
different colorists that I work
Okay.
with. So a lot of them right now are about to be Aaron Bartling. If you don't know his work, check him out. He's a great
Okay.
painter.
Amazing.
He and I hooked up. I was like, we wanted to get him on a bunch of projects. And the easiest way is like, yo, I'm gonna draw it, you paint it.
And question, does the and I think I know the answer to this. You get to pick who does your colors, right? They don't assign you.
Sometimes.
Really?
So Marvel and
Hmm.
DC will let me pick a colorist. Marvel, until you're at a certain ranking, they just whoever they get.
Really?
But most other stuff, I take care of all that.
And who's
They're
your
like-
favorite colorist of all the
Oh, it
colors?
depends on the pieces.
Well, if you had to
So
Yeah, you
like
had to pick
Lobo,
one.
I can't pick one.
oh,
I can't pick one like that works with me. I can't
yeah, like
because
if all your
If
past
it's like
work you've ever
a
done,
good girl
and you're
piece.
like, this is the guy. If I had to do one last cover, this is the guy I'm putting on this thing.
if I had
Damn.
to do, if it was my like last cover going out with a bang, it would probably be Ceci Dela Cruz.
Okay. Okay.
She just because it would be, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right.
Got it.
And I'll do my like X-Men women cast or something, and she just has a very like soft touch. She's done a lot of it's like Ula Moss or Sabine Rich, Niai. Works well
And have
on
you
the
ever
like,
done
kind of
your
stuff.
own colors?
I have, and I hate it. It
You
pisses
hate it?
me off.
Okay.
He'd rather have Dan color instead,
Yeah,
I'll do
I've
it.
done it
I'll
a
do it
couple
when
times. I've done it
Yeah.
a couple times and people love it, but I see a different way, and I'm not a great colorist, so it doesn't turn out the way I want it to. So I'm
Got
like,
it.
ugh.
And now,
So
sorry,
ahead.
real quick, I got one more. See, this is the stuff
You
I
can
love,
do
'cause-
this after the show.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
we can
I'll
do
do
this
that
after
after
the
the
show.
show. Okay.
yes, stick around, Kevin, because I was gonna say,
Stick
Kevin.
around. It ain't over
I didn't
yet.
know if we were
Leave.
cutting off. I'm trying to get all the. Like,
No. We can talk in the green room
Okay,
after. Don't worry
we'll
about it.
talk in the group.
All right, good enough. That being said, Ryan is like the fifth man. That you guys know, he's always on the show.
Sweet.
He's a
At least
regular
once a
on the
month.
show. One time a month, yeah. If I get lucky, I might get two.
I
You know,
missed
it all
Brian this
depends.
year.
Yeah, this is his first show of the year, and it's not going to be his last. Trust me, you're going to see him sooner than late than you think. All right, Kevin, go ahead and plug the shit you got going on and all your live shows and how they can find you.
Like I said, I mean, I don't even belong here. You know, I'm just nobody who, happens to run I think the only reason people know me is because I'm the only idiot willing to do all this shit for free. Where other people charge, but I just enjoy it. So I have nothing going on. I mean, I do IG shows. I don't know. I'm going to OAX. If you have any Darwin Cook that you're willing to sell me, I'd love to buy it. Or Mary Blair.
Or Bruce
I'd
Timm.
like a Mary Blair or Bruce Timm piece. I mean,
Mhm.
I do this for my own selfish reasons of meeting people so that they give me better deals on stuff that I want, that if I didn't know them, they wouldn't give it to me. That's why I do this. It's all selfish. I mean, I enjoy it. And, but that's it. I mean, I'll be at OAX. I fly in on Friday. I'll be there Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're going to be there, I'm a pretty loud person. It would be hard to miss me.
Yeah, he'll be with Anthony. So
yeah. So, I don't have anything to plug because I'm not selling anything.
okay, good. All right.
It's only 4
Well,
people.
listen, I want to thank Anthony's comic book art for jumping on. He was such a trooper. He drove 75 hours.
32 days.
2
He
days
drove
drive.
32 days. I mean, this guy was a trooper, and yet he jumped on and gave us his point of view on OA and art in general. One day, maybe again this year, I'd like to have it back on when he's actually settled and stuff like that. It could actually be on for the full 2 hours.
You'll just want me there with him because you got to reel
that's
that guy. You got to reel that guy in. It's
Yeah,
like herding
right.
cats.
It's like wrangling cats. Yeah, there you go. Thanks again to Kevin Kvan. If you want to follow him on IG, he goes by Kvan. And what a good show. Next week we have Nerds Pub on. We have Sarkis. We have these two idiots, Dan and Sam, and we have Ish. And Ish, that's why I said Dan and Sam, Brian, because I got to keep you in my back pocket. You know what I'm saying? So at Ish, Feel Better Ish, he wasn't able to make it today. He's feeling under the weather. But next week, Mark Fenton is going to jump back on the show. He's a creator, writer, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about indie books. Why don't they get the love? Why don't they get the love? Or are they getting love right now? Are they not getting love, or too much love, or overrated love? We're going to talk all about it with a bunch of people who read and not me. That's the fucking best part of it, as everybody is going to talk about these stories that are so good or suck, and I'm just going to sit here like a dildo and just not fucking move because I don't know what the fuck, and I don't know what the fuck they're saying. I swear to Odin, they'll be like, "Oh, you like that one story with that?" I don't fucking know anything. And then Dan's gonna be like, "Oh, but manga with the manga stuff." Oh, fucking annoying. Jesus.
I feel bad.
All right, guys.
And on
that note, we'll. So Kevin, stick around in the green room, my pal. Everybody, right. See you next week.
Adios.
Have a good time. And wait a minute. Yes, next week sounds good. All right, guys, and see ya. Comic Menu Podcast is sponsored by Realistic Comic Books.